We're going to kick off with the four of your characters when everything's all set here. Everything inside of this world is very similar to many other worlds that you might kind of play inside of in any other kind of fantasy setting. There are higher levels of technology here. There are also kind of like forgotten technologies here. But otherwise, this world sits somewhere similar to like Forgotten Realms and things like Eberron. Where it is different is in kind of the idea. Excellent, Justin. Where again, I don't really do most of the normal races. I think predominantly we are going to be all humans. This is a predominantly human. There are a lot of other races here who most of them are on vast declines. But we are inside of a human empire called Tarsus. And it is essentially, this is the dawn of the recognition that this is a failing empire. And we specifically are going to take pretty much the entire campaign is going to exist inside of this city of Ptolus. You are welcome to explore beyond there, but it is one of those things where, in general, Ptolus is a vast enough space that it is a campaign world unto itself. If you look at that empire map, Tarsus is kind of central, a little bit to the east, just north of the Gulf of Satron, on the north side of the Southern Sea. Ptolus is kind of central west, and it is just below the Bay of Ptolus, and kind of west of Ren to Hoth as one of the larger spots there. There are currently four emperors who claim the seat in Tarsus. The deposed emperor of Tarsus, who is essentially fleeing from a barbarian horde. There is the leader of the Church of Lothian inside of Ptolus, who is effectively like the Pope of the Church of Lothian, who claims the right. There is the Prince of the Empire of Tarsus. Oh, man, I said that wrong. The deposed emperor is here in Ptolus. His son is here in Ptolus. And then the Pope, effectively the high cleric of Lothian, is here in Ptolus. And then the fourth emperor who claims the throne is south of this. She is in uh, Dorinthus, kind of southwest of Ptolus. So again, this is a empire in its decline. This city in particular, I don't have that image set up real quick. Give me one moment.
Am I the only one that's experiencing some sound issues?
What's going on that you're having sound issues? Like, can you not hear me clearly?
I I couldn't hear anything from what you said the first time you said told us until just now.
Potentially, yes.
Yeah, I could hear you that whole time.
Your sound,
Okay, so
Bob, sounds a little bit shaky for me as well. So I wonder if you have connectivity issues.
yeah, that's what I'm just checking that right now because even my Roll20 stopped running. Okay, there it is.
How's this sound for you now?
You just now that's the only thing I heard was how does this sound for you now?
Alrighty, so the general Empire stuff that I was going over isn't necessarily a big deal. Did that sound all right?
It's pixelated sound. I'm not.
I have a feeling that may be on your side.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is.
I'm not sure if there's anything I can do to make that better. Right now though, everyone else can hear me fine, right? Like Davros, Justin, you can hear me?
Yep. Yep. It's coming in all right for me.
And then I had Justin, Seraph, you're good.
Yeah, coming through loud and clear.
And then Ashley,
Coming through loud and clear.
Babuza.
It's Zobaza.
Now
that
you're loud.
must be a Z.
Yeah, Z. Zobaza.
Now it sounds loud and clear for Eugene, Bob.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so I'll jump back into some of that background stuff in a second here. But Bob, same idea. If you have that picture of your character, if you have it in a circular form, you should be able to see in the top right of roll 20, there is a little newspaper. It is 2 from the left. And if you click on that, you should see characters. If you click on that, you should see Eugene and then an avatar spot where you can drop a picture. If you don't have one that's already a circle, I can make it a circle for you, send it back to you, and you'll do the same thing. You might see the pop up right now for the Empire image that I gave for everybody. If not, that's no big deal.
I just DM'd you the correct spelling of Zobaza for you.
I got you. I corrected my little notes of it. It's fine.
Okay. Let me. I'm gonna have to play with this to figure it out. So, oh God, being old is not any fun, guys. Just get all this stuff while you're young.
Are you just talking about like editing your avatar there?
Yeah. Well, I see how I can edit it. It's just trying to figure out how to get it from where it is to where it needs to be.
Yeah, if you still have the original file before you dropped it into Discord, that's what you're probably looking for, potentially in your downloads. If it's not a circle before you dropped it into Discord, just send it to me before you do the roll 20, and I'll make it the token.
Okay.
But kind of back to the initial thing that we're looking for here. I'll go over the Empire with you if you'd like to in more detail, Bob. But effectively, Ptolus is a city that is effectively a ancient city unto itself. In many ways, this was always kind of the bastion of both magic and the lesser races. And when I say lesser races, it's not like a value judgment. It is like lesser in number. This is a human world. Humans dominate the other races because all of the other races are in decline. The dwarves and the elves are the closest, and each of them are all basically ancient civilizations that are far past their prime unto themselves. But Ptolus is one of the bastions of these things. For centuries, magic has been illegal. Ptolus was one of the places where magicians could hide. For centuries, practicing other religions has been illegal. Ptolus has always been a bastion for other religions to kind of hold out. So while this empire is an empire of Lothianites, those who worship essentially the first emperor, who is named Lothian, you basically have the temple district is like filled with thousands of gods. So for those of you who don't yet have anybody who is essentially like your patron for the paladin or the cleric, Lothian is a solid choice, as it is essentially the religion of the emperor. Any other god you could want to choose, from anything from real mythologies, real religions, to things from Faerun, from Grey. Can't believe I forgot the name of Greyhaven. I don't know, but basically any god that you could ever think of, you can choose. And that's part of what they're going for in the idea of the temple district. There is a god for everyone here in Ptolus.
I'm going with Lothian.
So when you, oh my bad, was somebody saying something?
No, I just coughed. I'm sorry.
All good. When you are in Ptolus, you are always looking uphill while you look west. The docks kind of sit a few hundred feet below the cliffs. Effectively, what is it called? The Cliffs of Lost Wishes, that kind of separate the city from the actual bay. But the docks are about 200 feet below the actual city. You have things like the Warrens, which are just a area of kind of like riffraff and the most kind of destitute of people who exist here. The city guards will not go into this place because it is so dangerous. It is a haven for criminals, crime, death, robbery. It is not a good place to go. It's very dangerous to head into there. It is going to be somewhat central to our campaign, while you guys at least are lower levels. But effectively, if you are looking to the west, you are always looking uphill. Any street that is heading generally west, you are walking uphill. And as you get further and further west, you will notice that Old Town sits about like 50 or 100 feet above the rest of the city. And the River's Gate is in a pretty similar situation. And then the Noble District sits about 50 or 100 feet above the Old Town, on its own cliffs district. But beyond the noble quarters is the spire. And this is just a pinnacle of black rock that rises about, I think it's about a half mile into the sky. And it is just some, I think it's probably about like 100 feet wide towards the base kind of thing. And it just shoots up into the sky. It is impossible to imagine creating such a thing. Magic, evil created this thing, and everybody knows it. It is a leering presence of a dreadful, vile being that used to make this place their home. Day to day, there's a certain feeling of kind of dread that still comes from this place, because people recognize the power and the magic that created it is just kind of subtly in the back of your mind at all times. Um, but it has also been a place where this is like a seat of great things. This is a seat of horrible things. There are many great factions who do great things for people, humanity, and all beings. There are many evil things that do terrible things here as well. This city has layers and layers and layers of dead civilizations below the city, has those above the city. But that's kind of a first little primer of where we're going to go to get you all into Ptolus. There's a little bit more if you want to read the actual player's pack. That's like 20 pages. In the long run, though, Justin Davros, we've played enough. I think you're familiar enough with the city. When you want to do stuff with your characters, you're usually pretty comfortable with it. Justin, Seraph, we've kind of talked about you going for Lothian as a god. But if Eugene and then Zabuza, if you guys want to talk about like the knighthood and the potential god you might want to worship, or the army that you would have been a part of as a soldier, we can chat about those things in kind of the past, or we can chat about those things sometimes like during the future and kind of find out where you sit in those front. But otherwise, we're gonna kind of like move forward a little bit here. We are going to place you guys into. I had you on the full Ptolus map there. Yeah. If you guys ever want to look at it on your own, I have the handout here of the Ptolus map that gives you a chance to kind of like zoom in and look around. And that's just under handouts under that same journal page. You can actually see the Empire of Tarsus, the Spire, and
You cut out there.
I was just saying you should be able to see those 3 handouts in the bottom of your journal as handouts, where you can actually go back and look at the Empire of Tarsus, and you can go back and look at the like full map of Ptolus whenever you want. But today we are going to play inside of Midtown. So in general, the guild that I will have you all as a part of, and this is more the West Marches that we are actually going to play here. Again, the West Marches is designed about being episodic campaigns. We want to start something today, play through the session, and wrap up the session, where you 4 are welcome to group up again whenever you might care to. But by and large, the idea of West Marches is to have something start, finish, and then it kind of plays into 2 different ideas. If you guys want to play on Saturday and ask me to do something, I can create something for you to do. If somebody wants to play any day and they have a thought of what they want to do via their backstory, you can ask me to create something and you get a group together and we'll play it like that. That's the general idea of West Marches, is player-driven games. But today we're going to pick up with you guys in Midtown. We are going to assume that you guys are already knowledgeable, kind of like have met each other through the Twin Star Marauders, which is effectively a small, budding kind of group of loosely allied delvers. They are effectively adventurers in this world, but most of the riches are below this city, so they are delving into the earth. Adventurers are called delvers here. But we're going to assume that you guys are Twin Star Marauders. We're going to assume today you guys were out heading towards Delver's Square, and we're kind of just perusing around kind of some of the wares in the city. For Davros, if you thought about selling that armor that you found last time, this is one of those things that we can have you sell the armor. I think we talked about a general price, but if you want to do that another time, we can do that as well. But this is kind of one of those things that we're going to have you guys in Delver's Square already knowing each other. So, with that, let's take a few moments to first introduce you all as like actual people. I think top of the list right now, we've got Ashley playing Zabuza.
Yeah, that'd be correct.
And then just below Ashley in Discord, we've got Bob playing Eugene.
That is correct.
And then below myself in Discord, we have damn it, Justin. Justin playing Seraph.
Hello, I'm Justin. I'm playing Seraph.
And then below that, we have another Justin playing Davros.
Yep. Hopefully that won't get too confusing, but yep.
Well, I will predominantly call you guys, once this starts off realistically here, your character's name is who you're going to get called here. There's very few times where I'll actually use your name once we're actually really playing. Um, Normally, my bot is at the bottom of this screen. I have no clue what it's doing right now. Theoretically, I am streaming, but I have a fear that it is not recording anything, or rather, that it's not getting any audio. I was having issues at the start and don't actually know what it's doing. I messed up my virtual audio cables, which is surprising because they don't exist. But it's kind of the group here of the actual players. When you take this initial opportunity to describe your character for me, I want you to think about not necessarily going into a bunch of details about who you are, so much as what people see. Like, think about first impressions, somebody who sees you for that first time when you're like 10 or 15 feet from somebody, and just kind of think of that as like, give people the idea that they can start to imagine who you are. Often this means like, what kind of things are you wearing? What kind of things are you carrying? What color is your hair? Some people might pick up your eyes, but by and large, it's those first characteristics that people are really going to go to. Um, Davros, well, really both Justins, you are not unfamiliar with how I do this. Can we go bottom to top here and have Davros describe himself for us?
Sure. Yeah, so Davros is a pretty big guy. Stands a couple inches over 6 feet. Probably a couple 100 pounds. Got a pretty burly build. Bald headed. He's got a close cropped but fairly thick beard. It's kind of like dark brown, black. Um, he is wearing fairly plain clothes, a kind of like a leather apron over it. Not the kind of thing that's going to offer much protection. Might be something like that he wears as part of work that he's just used to wearing. He's got a somewhat crude but effective looking, essentially a like a big kind of hammer that he carries. As well as strapped on his back a collection of javelins. Um, yeah, from a distance, that's probably about what you'd pick up.
And then for Seraph, can you describe what you look like?
So you see just a average sized man. Anybody would be pretty familiar that he's wearing some armor, fairly heavy metal, but is wrapped in a bunch of just various like robes and sort of like like turban kind of wrap. A younger man, maybe in his 30s, a little bit of facial hair. Overall, looks fairly clean. Not really like brandishing a weapon, but is holding a shield. And then you would see a crossbow and maybe like a mace around his belt.
And then Eugene, can you describe what you look like for us?
Yeah, I'm about 30 years old, 33 years old or so, 6'2", 220, wearing a heavy chain um, top. I've got a battle axe. It's called Sandra in my hand. I've got a shield, uh, dark hair, dark eyes, kind of a little bit of a beard, and yeah, that's pretty much what you would see. I've got a long bow with some arrows attached to my back, and yeah, that's me.
Zabuza.
So from the distance, Zabuza is 6'2", with all black clothing. The main thing that predominantly stands out is his black hair and his greatsword on his back. You also notice that his face is covered up with a mask. From a distance, that is all you really would pick up. He is dominantly a character that likes to be surrounded by darkness. More like he likes to stick to the shadows.
So, as a group, you all are largely fitting perfectly into the feel of what Delver's Square is. Delver Square is filled with other adventurers. You see people coming up out of like the central square from behind this massive statue of Abesh, the person who discovered the Bane Warrens below this place and actually founded Ptolus as a human settlement. There's a large statue in the center of the square. In front of him, there's a pool of water set up as like a fountain, and then behind them, there's a stair that actually like leads down into the Bane Warrens beneath the city here. And that statue of Abesh is like the center of this square. And all around you, there are different groups of adventurers in 3s and 4s, 6s and 7s, and they're walking to and from some of these stores, going into the ghostly minstrel and grabbing a bite to eat and grabbing a drink. Some people are like going into there's an inn here, kind of on the southwestern side of the square, but everybody's kind of doing something or another. Everybody is well armed in this location. To see people carrying shields, wearing heavy armor, carrying massive weapons is completely normal in Delver's Square. As you head out further and further away in Midtown, it's still relatively normal. This is an area of a town that is owned predominantly by adventurers. This is the up and coming elite, the wealthy people who have created their wealth here in Ptolus. And by and large, there is tons and tons of money in Midtown. But as you head out closer towards the kind of like peripherals of Midtown, you will see less weapons. You will see less armor. You can vastly see the difference of people who are just normal workers here, often not carrying anything that is even remotely symbolic of like a sword or any sort of armor at all. And you can see more and more of that as you get further and further away from Delver Square in particular, but Midtown in general, and into the peripherals of the city. North of you is the Temple District across any of these bridges. South of you is the South Market and the Guild District kind of southeast of you. But by and large, this is the center of town, and this is what Midtown is. But we're going to start off with you guys kind of basically leaving Delver Square and maybe heading back towards the Warrens after a bit of drinking. And it's kind of early evening. There's still liveliness in the city. You can see as you head onto Center Street that there are some people who are being pulled on like horse-drawn carriages. There are some people who are being pulled on like rickshaws. That there are like taxi services of sorts in this place. And you can usually assume that people who are doing that are either Delvers going somewhere in Midtown or somebody going up to Old Town or into the Noble District, and perhaps leaving like the Temple District. But it's kind of that time of evening where there's still a lively city about you. There are plenty of areas where magical lights kind of just float and burn in the sky. There are also, as you get further and further away from Delver Square, plenty of people who are actually lighting real lanterns with like long sticks, and they're going about starting to light up the city as the sun is setting to the west. The shadow of the spire creates this massive, just like black line across the city where there's different points where you're walking and all of a sudden you just step into darkness. And then after like a few 100 feet, you step back out into, you know, like a sun setting kind of like, what's it, the magic hour. And you still have like that beautiful kind of orange glow of the sun. But the spire is especially present in sunsets like this because you have that like weird just moment of daylight, deathly darkness, daylight. And you guys are essentially walking back towards the Warrens, leaving Delver Square here. And at some point, you're going to pass by an alley. And as the group is kind of just sauntering on, you're going to notice that there are two figures kind of like standing standing up over a third figure on the ground, you're going to hear screaming coming from down this alley as a woman kind of like begs for them to leave her alone. And you just hear something to the level of, please, no, don't hurt me. And then you see these two figures kind of like throwing punches at this third person who is on the ground. What do the four of you do when you see this happening in an alley just to the south?
So you had mentioned there's like some magical effects and like stuff about the background. Is magic like prohibited in the city, or how does that work?
So, in general, there's two different things that you would already know about magic here. It is always going to be incredibly illegal to influence other people. Using something like command on like a merchant is the type of thing that will get you thrown in jail for quite some time. Using things like friendship to influence somebody is deathly dangerous as well. Most magic, as long as you don't get caught using it, is perfectly fine to use. But that's kind of one of those things where this place is technically on the books. It is still punishable by death to use magic. To be a magical person is still technically punishable by death. But I don't think they've executed anybody for about 200 years. For the last 50 or so years, it's been vaguely understood that magic is acceptable.
And how far away from this like alley or like assailant is this?
Like 40 or 50 feet.
Okay, I guess I'll just like look at the rest of the party and like make quick eye contact, and I'll just say he would not approve. And I'll just start kind of running towards them.
I would follow and use a stare to kind of scare the assailants to try and back off from the woman.
You said a stare?
Yes, so a glance, like a hard stare, like a something that you would
Gotcha.
see someone like an enemy do to you to try and scare you into running away.
From right now, from this distance, you're too far away. You could yell out something to try to intimidate them, but effectively, you're still kind of beyond like eye contact level of where a stare is going to do anything. They don't have your attention at this point, or rather, you don't have their attention at this point. Um, but like yelling out something to them, you might find yourself with an opportunity. But otherwise, closing that distance is again kind of the initial.
Right, so then could I close the distance to about 10 feet so I'm outside of the alley but not in enough danger for where they could attack me?
If you were to close that distance, like you're like 40, 50 feet away, if you run 30 or 40 feet, you're going to be in danger. So there's a certain level of you have to kind of make that decision. How much risk are you willing to put yourself into to try to make something happen? But effectively, you're basically having to kind of yell to them and put yourself into risk.
Yeah, so Davros is going to, seeing a couple of his companions start moving into the alley, is going to follow. He is going to be moving a little more slowly, almost like walking, but as he's doing so, he's kind of raising up the maul in his hand, and he's going to shout out, "Hey, leave her alone!"
When I hear that, I start to withdraw my long sword from my back, as well as shout as, if not, you'll have consequences to pay.
Bob, you are currently muted. What do you think Eugene is doing? All right, you are severely broken up there. So I wonder how much you've even been able to hear from us.
I'm sorry, guys. My connection is really messed up. I'm going to try and sign it and plug
That's
directly into
actually
my
much
router.
better. Okay, I got you. So I don't know why I can't drop Zabuza. You keep dropping as like a blank token. But if you guys are basically leaving the street kind of just behind, I gather the Davros and Seraph are kind of moving like slowless away from the city or away from that street and down into this alley. And Zabuza is probably halfway between them and the three people in the alley.
If you want to try it now, it's because my token was black.
I don't understand what is happening with that. I see your actual like token is correct for your character. I feel like you have something else set as the token for present. But regardless, it's not necessarily a big deal at this point. But does that currently sound right? That Sabuza kind of ran forward, and then we have Seraph and Davros are kind of like moving off into the alley, but they're not necessarily rushing forward.
Yeah, Davros is taking like he's basically walking forward at a pretty steady pace, but as he shouts out, not yet rushing towards them.
And if you guys can hear me, I'm right there with them.
You think you're basically just like with the other two? So Zabuza has kind of left three of you behind, and the other three are just like heading into the alley.
Yes. I'm pretty encumbered, so I'm moving a little bit slower than everybody else.
You're coming through loud and clear now, just so you know.
Okay, I just switched into my directly right into my router, so hopefully that will fix the problem.
See one more time, trying to drop Zabuza. Yeah, it's still not working. So we're just doing Eugene. Oh, Eugene dropped as a character, and his doesn't show up on my screen, but Zabuza's still dropping blank. So we've got Zabuza kind of halfway ahead of you guys. Eugene kind of coming up behind with the other two, and we've got them coming forward. Just in general, right now, let me have you guys roll an intimidation with the whole group right now, as you guys are trying to intimidate these two apparent thieves who are assaulting this person. If you look on D&D Beyond, you have. Oh, actually, I forgot to go over Beyond 20 to actually link the two to make it nice and simple. But if you look on D&D Beyond, you have your skills in the center of the screen. It's probably a long black section that starts with athletics and it goes down to, I think, survival. And you can kind of see like one of those should be intimidate, kind of top center. I assume both Justins have D&D Beyond 20 installed. Bob or Ashley, do either of you have that installed already?
Not that I know of.
I have it on my phone, the app on my phone.
Beyond 20, or are you talking about D&D Beyond?
D&D Beyond.
Gotcha. So Beyond 20 is to link when you roll something on your character sheet in D&D Beyond. Beyond 20 will send it to Roll 20. So that's part of where those two things will come in, that will get all of your rolls here. As you can see from Davros and Seraph, like their rolls have come through to the screen. At present, if you guys start installing those, if you've got Google Chrome or Firefox, it has, what do they call their applications? Extensions that you can install. That is a great start. But at present, did the two of you roll an intimidation? What did you guys roll? And also, I need you to roll this twice. Anything should always be rolled twice. At present, you guys are essentially rolling these at disadvantage.
Just
So
repeat
right
the
now,
name for me, please.
what was that?
Repeat the name of the app for me.
Beyond 20. I just sent you a direct link to it, to their site inside Discord. But did you guys already roll an intimidation? Can you tell me what you rolled?
Yeah, I
I
rolled a
have not.
19 and an 8.
Gotcha. So we're taking the 8. And then how about from Ashley? Did you happen to roll those already?
No.
If you could, just let me get those two numbers. Just roll 2 real quick. And then we'll kind of jump back into this.
D20, yeah?
Yep.
Where did you send the link?
On Discord, it should just be as a private message directly to you, Bob. So if you click, what is it now? The snowy little game controller.
The little snowy guy.
I have a feeling, unless he rolls really high with both of those two dice, that we're going to go here for kind of a fail. As these two kind of just like give you the slightest bit of their attention. One of them kind of like pulling out like a mace from his side as he like holds the woman down on the ground with his right hand. He holds a mace out to it with his left and kind of points it towards Zabuza. And he says, "This doesn't concern you." And you'll see as the one in the back kind of like steps away, almost like putting his foot down on the woman, and he's going to draw a longbow out. Does that change how anybody is going to approach this situation? Do you feel that she is any less in need of your assistance now than before?
No, is it like, I mean, it's obvious this is like illegal and not legit, right?
Yeah, if there were any level of city guards in this area at this point, this person would be getting rescued by city guard.
In the name
Yes,
of Lothian, I command you to drop your weapons.
Yeah, as they start drawing weapons, Davros is going to start moving more quickly. He's going to go into a run towards them, trying to catch up with Zabuza.
Gotcha. Was that an actual command? Are you going for actual use of command here?
I'm not actually going to cast it, but I will like kind of hold my hand up a little bit.
For some reason, I cannot install Beyond 20.
Gotcha. We'll kind of figure this out in the long run here. We'll stick to just having you do actual rolls for me. Again, in the long run, if it comes down to it, an Owlbear Rodeo works better, I might just switch to that. I feel like Owlbear might work better for Bob if he continues to have issues. As I see Bob just dropped out of Roll20 as is. I'm already worried that it's going to be too much for his system.
I'm still in roll 20.
Oh, you dropped out on my screen. It might have just lagged a little bit.
Oh, okay.
So at present here, this is pretty much going to continue to escalate, and I'm going to have you guys roll for initiative to see how things move forward. Right now, though, it seems like Davros and Seraph are going to continue this forward. They've drawn weapons. Multiples of you all have weapons. Usually, the moment somebody draws the first weapon, that's when I'm going to call for initiative. But it just so happens that, while it's pretty hostile, Vubuza also wasn't closing that round in the same turn kind of thing. But if you can select your token and then roll initiative, if you've got D&D Beyond open and Beyond 20 is set, it's going to roll you right into initiative. But otherwise, if you select on your icon, you can add yourself to initiative, and then just let me know what you roll.
I rolled a 15.
Yeah, even the commands aren't working for me.
What did you roll for initiative with Zabuza?
For some reason, I'm still having trouble doing it. For some reason,
What do you mean, though? What do you mean you're having trouble?
like when I go to roll the dice on the Roll20, it doesn't allow me. But for the first roll, I rolled a 12.
Was that still trying to do the intimidation?
Yeah, and the second roll was 16.
Gotcha. That still wouldn't have been high enough. Can you click on initiative inside of D&D Beyond and tell me what you get there? Your initiative is kind of like top right, just above like your actions, just to the right of like athletics, acrobatics. Davros, you're going to have the highest initiative here, so you have the first kind of opportunity to react. What is Davros thinking in this moment here, sir?
Yeah, so Davros, kind of as the weapons are being drawn, is breaking into a run, charging forward. I can't quite get to them yet. So as he's running, he's reaching behind his back, pulling out one of the javelins he's got, and he's
13.
Gotcha, 13. Sorry about that.
no
And
worries. And he's shouting, and he's going to be a kind of almost like a growl, just like, "We warned you," and he is going to towards the one who's got his who's reaching down with one hand to hold the woman. He is going to launch a javelin, trying to skewer him.
excellent. You should be inside of 20 feet, so you should be inside a normal shot. 24 will hit and deal in 8 damage.
And he's basically rushing forward. I think he can get. Actually, I think that might be all he can get to. He was. Yeah.
And you said that was for the closest one, like holding the mace out towards Zabuza at this point?
Right, the one who's got his other hand on the woman. Yeah.
Gotcha. And then let's see. It should go to Eugene to react now.
Yeah, I'm going to, as I'm moving forward as quickly as I can, I'm also going to be pulling out my longbow and knocking an arrow, and I'm going to direct that arrow at the other individual. That
Gotcha.
is,
Shooting for their archer.
yeah.
So with that, you could move 30 feet closer to them. It should be 6 spaces, I believe. Although, wait, this might be. You might have scaled this one differently.
Okay, I mean, I'm not seeing the map at all. I've got all of our icons in the middle of the screen. Am I just in the wrong place?
I think that might be your computer is just not able to load the map. I think that is a solid call that at very least next time, if not during a break, we should switch to Owlbear.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good with Albert. That's what I've been using so far. So for Ptolus, so
It's kind of up to you guys at this point. If you are okay with it, it's probably like a 5-minute switch. We can do it during a break here, or we can do it right now before this combat. But it's kind of up to you guys when we do that.
I mean, I'm good to do it now. If we want, so Bob can have a visual of the fight.
You know, guys,
So,
this is the first time I've ever played D&D, so maybe having a visual would help a lot.
yeah, I'm gonna send the link. Well, realistically, I've got it inside of the information for Praemal Twin Star Marauders information. You should see a link to Owlbear Rodeo up towards the top of that. If anybody doesn't see that, I can send it directly to you, but I'm going to record these initiatives and then we can move over to Owlbear Rodeo.
Yeah, could you DM it to me?
Anybody else prefer it just sent directly to you?
Yeah, just send it to me if you would, please.
I'm good.
How are you sending that?
Well, that's what I mean. I can send it directly to you, Justin.
Well, yeah, but how are you actually sending it?
Oh, on Discord.
Yeah, that doesn't actually help me. Is there like some kind of code I need to like use it or something?
Owlbear Rodeo? Shouldn't be.
Well, like my Discord's on a different computer.
If I send it inside of Roll20, can you click it there?
Yeah, that should work.
So you guys should all see in the top left, like the party. If you change your name up there, you can kind of let it know who you all are. Let me try to get us back to this general area. So that should start to load the map. Theoretically, this should be much easier to kind of give you a perspective.
Yeah, that's a lot better because you can also drag it around and it's a lot more clearer than the other one.
Yeah, overall, I prefer Owlbear Rodeo. It's got a lot of things that it does better, but it doesn't do a lot of like the calculations of what D&D Beyond and Roll20 can do. Usually, if I know what a mission's going to be, it's a lot easier to do Roll20. It's so much easier to ad-lib things on Owlbear Rodeo. So if you all take those same tokens that I had you upload in Roll20 and just drop them in that little plus mark in the bottom right, you're going to see your characters. Ooh, I definitely have the scale wrong on this when I see Davros there.
Yeah, I don't think he's that big.
That goes back to I didn't really prepare to have this be the place, but I did drop
Mate, how do you want us to drop? Just click on the icon and then drag it, yeah?
Yep, that should be all you have to do. I can't actually manipulate you, Davros. I don't think I made. Oh, this is where Brave doesn't like the shield. Messes with Alberodi. Justin, Seraph, if you start to feel like you have issues with Owlbear Rodeo, if you go into Brave in the top, like right of your browser, and you see like the little lion, if you turn off the Brave shield, it has like bad interactions with Owlbear Rodeo.
Okay, I should be good. I think I got it all set now.
Where are these bad guys?
So right now, the enemies are the ones that I just have represented by very generic tokens. The leaf is the woman, the dagger is the guy with the mace, and then the bow is the one with uh, the bow is the archer. So I think we should have Davros and Zabuza next to each other, and then Seraph and Eugene towards the back right now. I think that should give you guys about what we had on it.
Can I then take out my longsword, or do I already have it out?
Well, hold up here. I think we should be on Eugene.
Okay, yeah, and I have my longbow out, arrow knocked. I'm ready to fire at the archer.
Gotcha. So yeah, you can move and then fire. You can fire now and move. Effectively, there's no real difference when you're doing your movement and whatnot. But you can take the shot when you are ready.
So let me ask you this: this part of this building that sticks out right here where I am, is that a tall piece of the building? Do I have to move around that? What, or is that like just some low item that's sticking out there?
That is certainly an item that is sticking out in your way, but also there are two humans who are running in between your shot that are also in your way. That person has cover.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm not
But
gonna.
that's one
I'm
of
gonna.
those things, like running out and like to the kind of top of the screen. Yeah, to try
Mhm.
to clear that thing a little bit helps you.
Yeah, and that's where I am now. If I go too far over this way, then I'm blocked for my shot to this guy from by these buildings. So I'm kind of thinking that I want to go right in here somewhere.
Indeed, and that's precisely why maps are best for combat. But like when we do theater of the mind combat, it almost always will be in your favor to do stuff. But the strategy of having maps is usually more fun than theater of the mind.
Right. So I think Davros is right in front is in my field of fire.
Yep, he'll add a little bit to it, but regardless, the two of them in front of you are essentially what's giving him cover. But you can still take a shot at him.
Oh, okay. Let's do that. Ooh, 21.
Gotcha. So 21 is a solid hit. When you roll the damage, what do you get here?
Oh, 7.
Davros, do you remember what you did to the first guy? 8 damage?
8 damage, yeah.
So side note here, while we are inside of Owlbear Rodeo, you have a dice roller in game that you can do everything that you would like. Just this is like pen and paper style.
No.
You can select the D20 and roll it. You do want to make sure to select at the bottom of that dice roller that you don't have the hide dice rolls selected. It should just look like an Earth, like North and South America,
Okay.
on that little globe. So you can roll dice here and tell me your modifiers from D&D Beyond. Otherwise, you're welcome to roll other places, but just kind of pick one. In general, I prefer if everybody would stick to the die roller in Owlbear Rodeo. But you're kind of up to. I certainly understand rolling real dice too, and I'd almost prefer that to D&D Beyond at this point.
Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and do you want me to re-roll then?
No.
Okay.
That's a solid go there. And from Eugene, we actually have the front figure is going to react. And he's going to. So, right now. Yeah, I think he's just going for and given one. His second target is going to be trying to clear to Seraph. How far away are you? So he is actually going to be running through all of you, which means you could punch him, Eugene, as you've got a bow out. You can only do melee attacks. And then Zabuza and Davros, the two of you, if you would like, can make attacks with your hammer and your sword.
Could I make an attack with my sword?
Yep, that's why I said you can make an attack with your sword.
Yeah, I think Davros he just got the one hand on the maul for throwing the javelin, so he's actually going to punch out at the guy as he tries to run past.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, theoretically, yeah, you would be unarmed basically at that point.
No, I think the 11 was first. I forgot in Owlbear, I should probably just roll 1.
8 for damage on mine.
What'd you roll to hit though?
What's the dice for hit?
D20. All right, Eugene, you're going to do 2 damage as you hit with a crit. 15 is a hit, so that's going to do 8. What is your strength with Vabusa?
18.
I don't ever care about what the number is these days. It's all about your modifiers.
Oh, plus 4.
Once you've created your character, that number doesn't mean next to anything. So that plus 4 is everything for now on.
It's 19.
Because anything you do strength based, your strength of 18 gives it a plus 4. So the 19 definitely hits, but you're going to deal that plus 4 into your damage. So you'll deal another 12 there. And then Davros, you said you're punching as well, but your tavern brawler, do you get to do a different damage die?
D4.
Yeah, roll a d4 for me, please.
Okay, that's 2. Oh, and then +3 for strength, so 5 total.
He is going to close into Seraph. He's going to look bloodied from those attacks. And he is going to swing twice at you, Seraph, with his mace. Probably pretty solid that one of those is the one. Of course, it fell off the 17, and it's I'm going back for the 15. 15's keepable. Should be able to hit you with a 19.
Yeah, I'm 18.
And then he's gonna deal 2 damage plus this die roll. Total of 4, it looks like.
And I'm down.
So he has rushed through all of you and kind of gotten to like the first person who kind of reacted and swung on Seraph, knocking Seraph to the ground as his mace kind of like clinks across his skull. And it's going to go to Sabuza. You now have a target in front of you and you've got a target behind you. What are you doing?
I resheath my sword and pull out my crossbow and load it.
All right, hold up here. If you're going to sheathe your sword, you can't pull out your crossbow and fire. If you drop your sword, you can pull out your crossbow and then take a shot. But early on, this is where you have to kind of decide when you start pulling out a weapon, that's going to be your weapon unless you get used to dropping weapons as well.
All right, then disregard that. I start lunging, running towards him. I get in proximity to him, and I swing the sword to cleave his head off.
Gotcha. You can make an attack for him. Again, I need you to start with the D20. That's yeah. Oh wait, the D20 is the 6. Yep, you are going to miss as you swing for him. And just kind of go wide as he's kind of like lunging out with his mace. Your sword just kind of like passes over his back.
As I see the mace coming towards my face, could I drop the sword and fall towards the floor, but not fully, so more of like a crab in a sense?
You can drop your sword, but the mace is being swung at Seraph right now. Like all of your turns happen at the same time here. So he's still knocking Seraph unconscious, kind of thing. Seraph, if you can, I don't know if there's a whisper in this one. Yeah, I don't think there is. I think just roll a d20 for me, Seraph. And we'll. This is one of those things in general. I want you guys to not think about things that your characters don't know about. Death saving throws are not something your characters know about. If somebody goes unconscious and you care about them not dying, you should get to your friend and help them. In general, Seraph just passed by rolling a 19. But at the same time, you guys still see this person is basically on death's door. It shouldn't be something that is comforting to you that he rolled a 19. It's good as a metagame thing, but as far as in-game, your characters, if they care about him, should still be trying to save him. Let's see. The archer is going to kind of sidestep, and he's going to put an arrow downrange, 2 arrows actually downrange, into Zavros. Four is looking pretty steady as a miss. Other one's cocked. Let's go for about to be a 5, I think. And then 9 should miss Zavros as well.
9 misses. Yep.
My bad. That was Zabuza. My bad. I combined 2 different names there.
Okay, sorry.
And then that's going to take us to, I guess I probably shouldn't shorthand everybody's names on my initiative list. That'll take us to Davros.
Okay, so Davros is he'll look back and he'll just shout out, "Get him up!" Towards Seraph, but he is continuing on now, kind of gripping the maul in his 2 hands and kind of closing the distance to the archer and taking a swing with his maul, kind of just trying to right into the stomach. Should be a 20 to hit.
Solid hit.
That is going to be for 12 damage.
As you bash this young teenage boy, this is far from anybody of any older age here. Bash him into the kind of chest. He's going to have ribs cracking as this blast hits into him, and almost immediately recoiling, coughing blood, essentially all over you and the woman at his feet. Roll a perception check for me here, Davros, and then we're gonna go to Eugene.
That will be a 10 on the perception.
You can already see on this kid some similar things that you would have seen when you were last in the Warrens, where these kids all have, on his archery hand, he's got a double ring on his fingers, and you can see that all of his fingertips are painted black. I don't think I gave you the information previously, but these are pale dogs, and you can recognize that here.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, if he has kind of time after noticing that, he would shout out to the others.
I don't think you shouted anything there, so you are welcome to shout that out. As far as they're concerned, again, as people who have kind of gone in there, we're assuming you're already affiliated with the Twin Star Marauders. The Pale Dogs are a gang of children and young teens who effectively run the Warrens. And it would be out of character to see them elsewhere. They do crime for criminal lords, but in the long run, their territory is the Warrens. And then again, back to Eugene. What are you thinking, sir?
I'm going to turn to the person who's back here, and I'm going to pull my hand axe and throw it.
Gotcha. So 2 things. I actually made a mistake here. The one that you just hit, Davros, you guys already hit him, and you nearly killed him with your 1 shot. He's definitely going to fall unconscious, if not dead here. And one thing that I can throw out there, you can try to kill this guy if you can, Eugene, but also keep in mind that you are somebody who can heal somebody. If you can heal somebody and get them standing, that can often be the difference between life and death, and it can also often change action economy, how things play off. You guys will experience that a little bit more in the future here, but your healing hands is one of the healing that your group has right now. So you can make that decision here. You can try to go for the kill on this guy. He is bloodied, he is wounded, but you don't know effectively, like the bloodied condition is once you guys have done half of their health. And then from there, when they're at less than 10 hit points, I will tell you that they are mortally wounded. So does that sound good that the javelin is what you're going to go for?
Could I shout to him before he makes that to instead of killing him to tie him up, and we could question him later?
On your turn. There's a certain level of you guys can like communicate some things. I often try to give people the idea like fireside chat things that you can talk about generically, but inside of the actual moments here, Davros is probably more welcome to decide that he knocked that kid unconscious, rather than like having you at this point say something like that. But that's one of those things like strategically, I'm not saying that you can't know that it might be ideal to try to knock this person unconscious, but it is one of those things that normally when you're trying to say something, it's got to be on your turn. Are you there, Bob?
Yes. Yeah.
What would you like to do?
I want to, like I said, pull out my hand axe. I'm looking at. I've turned the opposite direction now. I'm looking at the baddie that's up here by Seraph, and I want to get him stopped from doing any more damage to Seraph, who's unconscious on the ground.
Gotcha. Do you want to close in on him and swing at him with your hand axe, or are you going to try to throw your hand axe?
I'm going to throw my hand axe.
All right, you can make a ranged attack here, and you will add your dexterity. Like if you roll a d20, you'll then add your dexterity modifier. Theoretically, you're proficient with a hand axe. Yeah, with a 15, you're going to hit there.
Yeah.
And roll for damage, and it'll add your dexterity modifier.
All right. Dexterity modifier is 1. And 26. So that's going to be.
So you'll do 4 more.
Yeah. My when I'm looking on the D&D Beyond, it says 1d6 plus 2.
That is if you swing at it in melee, because that uses strength. When you throw something, it's dexterity.
Gotcha. Okay, so 4.
If you're, it's always gonna. That's one of those things. D&D Beyond knows a lot of rules. It doesn't know how the game is played, though.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that is actually going to knock him out. This is where I'll give you Davros. You can knock yours unconscious. This one, though, because he is ranged, you don't get the same choice. This one is effectively going to be dead. So, any thoughts, Zabuza? What would you like to do? You've got one of these kids is dead with an axe in the back of his head. The other one is knocked unconscious by Davros. And then you have Seraph, who is unconscious near you as well. Would you like to try to help Seraph, or would you like to do something else?
Is the kid with the axe in the head on top of Zoros?
I mean, effectively, but what are you thinking?
I'm thinking to drag the kid off to allow Zoroth to be healed, and to then search the kid for any identification, anything that would lead us to knowing who he is and why he is attacking this woman.
Yeah, so he's not like blocking any ability to heal him, but if you want to search through his body, you are welcome to do an investigation roll here. Just roll a d20 and let me know what your investigation modifier is. Otherwise, it's going to go to Seraph, who is still in danger of dying. I need you to roll another d20 for me, Seraph.
My investigation is 18.
And then it's going to go to Davros. You've knocked the one boy unconscious. The woman is at your feet. You've got your friends having taken down the other of these kids. What would you like to do?
Yeah, so Davros, I think maybe maybe he didn't realize as he was rushing up and like just how young this kid was. So maybe at like the last moment he tried to kind of take a little off his swing to just hopefully knock the kid out instead of just killing him outright. But as he is down, he's going to kind of turn towards the woman. You all right, miss? Trying to look a little, trying to look, a little more friendly, less threatening than he had just been looking with the kid. Just trying to essentially calm her down and like, you all right, miss? What happened? What's going on?
I was just leaving my home to head in to Satch's. I had some bookkeeping to do this evening. And these kind of looks at him. Boys pulled me into the alley and you saved me. Thank you so much. I can't imagine what they were going to do.
I've tussled with the likes before, nasty little brats. Just lucky we were passing by, able to help. But I think he is otherwise going to maybe start dragging the unconscious kid, kind of back towards the others, like almost like grabbing him
Gotcha.
by like the collar and just essentially kind of dragging him.
You can kind of have that conversation as you're like dragging his body away and towards the others. As Zabuza goes through the body, you find like 5 gold lions on him, 10 silver thrones, and a small letter kind of like stuffed into his pocket. And you guys should all be able to see that letter quite large. As well, I dropped it into Discord in the Guild Hall chat if you guys want to look at it later. With you kind of looking through that, with Stavros dragging the body, it's going to go to Eugene. Seraph is still unconscious on the ground. What would you like to do?
I want to run over to Seraph and I'm going to lay hands.
So 1 hit point will get him conscious.
Yeah.
You don't know how many hit points he has. His hit points are very much meta knowledge. You can do 1 hit point and get him alive. Otherwise, you can pick a number that you would like to do.
Let's do 2.
So as you heal up Seraph for 2 hit points, you will still see that Seraph is still bloodied, but you do heal up like most of the like blunt force damage to his skull from where he was hit. You have a solid idea at that point. Seraph has 4 hit points. You healed him up to effectively 50% there. And with Seraph being conscious, we are going to step out of initiative, and you guys can make the decision on how you would like to go about this situation at this point. You have one of these kids dead. You guys have a solid understanding that they are pale dogs out of the Warrens. Davros, did you ask her name?
He did not. He's not much of a conversationalist.
So, what would you all like to do as you kind of wrap up fighting these two boys?
Could I read the letter out to the party and inform them of the letter and ask if that woman is the name on this sheet is, if that is her name, like say her name and see if she responds.
When you read it out, she will 100% like kind of like look up towards you all, like going from kind of like a puppy dog, sort of like following Davros, like dragging the body, to like hearing this name, and she's like, "They were waiting for me.
I
That's
turn
my home. I don't." And she just looks confused at the boys.
I turn to look at her and say, would there be any reason for this to happen to you?
Same thing. She was already saying, like, I don't know these boys. I don't understand why. She's confused looking at this.
Okay. I tell Davros to saddle the boy, like to carry him, and I will pick up the other young boy, and I will escort the young lady to where she's going, and then I'd like to then drop the two boys off with the guards.
If we can get this one up, as Davros is kind of essentially like putting him over his shoulder, almost like carrying on like a sack of wheat or something. We can get this one conscious. Maybe he can tell us what's going on with that note.
Yeah, that would make that would answer a lot of our questions. But until then, it is our responsibility to make sure this young miss is safe. And once he awakens, we can question him. If he doesn't awaken, then we'll let the guards do their investigation. At this point, it would be out of our hands.
Not sure how long it's going to take. Hit him a bit hard, I think.
I'd probably reckon a couple of hours. I ask the young lady where it is that she is heading and how far it is.
Such as just down the road, and she'll kind of point down, like past the alley, in the opposite direction, like to the southwest of where you all are. And she just kind of like points down uh, Crispin Street, and it's a little bit beyond, but it's not far.
Miss, take a deep breath. It's okay. You're safe now. I look at the party and say, me and Davros will take the two young boys to the guards if you would like to escort her.
So
Sure.
do Eugene or
Yeah. We can take her over. We can take her the rest of the way.
Is that all right with you, Davros? If we carry them to the guards, or would you want to hold on to them to question the boy?
Well, might make more sense to try and question him ourselves. I've no problem handing him off, but once we do, doubt the guards will give us a chance to talk to him.
It's your decision. I'm just thinking that long term. If with the rings on their hands, the part of the gang, obviously there's probably going to be some kind of a bounty on them. Maybe, who knows what's around. But we never know what we've gotten ourselves into. I mean, we can question him if you would like, but I'd say in the long run it'd be probably more worthwhile to hand them over to the guards, because like, we're in back streets. This is their territory. Who else is watching this?
So right now, you guys are in that line, like just north of where it says 192. I've got that line, like that is that alley that you guys are inside of. Does everybody see that? Like just kind of southwest of Midtown?
Yep.
The actual like guard tower is right outside of Delver Square, so you're not terribly far from going to where the guards would be. And then I think Satch's is actually 196, which is just kind of south of where it says Longbow. Do you have any thoughts, Seraph? Like, as they're like thinking about taking these kids to the guards, do you have any thoughts about what you're thinking? Like, I think it sounds like you guys are going to split up. Two of you take two of them to the guards. Two of you take Fawn to her work.
I'm wondering if there are any rain barrels that would have water in it that we could dunk this kid in to bring him around, so that we could talk to him and interrogate him before he goes to the guards.
If you want to talk to him or interrogate him, you have to actually heal him.
Are the kids right now? Are they both just like knocked unconscious, or what's the deal?
One of them is dead.
Yeah, the one who
what?
got X is dead.
Okay, I got you. And then can I just kind of like poke my head around like the corner and just see if there's anybody around or any signs of anybody that might have seen this go down?
Roll a perception for me.
Oh shit, I did it in the wrong one.
Oh, that's not Aiden Owlbear?
Oh no, that 14 was the old roll. I don't know what it was for, but it was an old roll.
Gotcha. Oh, it was maybe your stabilize. What did you roll?
Oh yeah, it was the death saving throw. I think. Hang on one sec. I don't know why it double rolled, but it's a 23. Oh wait, it's supposed to double roll. Never mind.
Just give me one moment here. You see somebody around the corner who seems to be sleeping, but it doesn't seem beyond like this person who's like laying down on the ground, that there's anybody who's noticed you all.
Okay, I'll just like peek my like come back around the corner or whatever, and I'll just like man, I guess I don't really know how long I was asleep or unconscious for. So can I like check the body and see if this person is like dead?
The one Davros is dragging is the one that's unconscious. The one that has an axe wound in the back of his head, like the axe is potentially still embedded in his head, or Eugene's actively like pulling it out. So if you want, you can do a medicine check on the one that Davros is dragging.
Okay, but like the one with the axe in his head is like beyond saving for sure, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to say to the party, I don't remember clearly what happened, but perhaps we should go sooner than later.
Or how would you like to do that? Would you want to split up, question and get this young miss to her work? What would you like to do?
Should leave the scene of the crime, one way or the other.
Is everybody in favour?
Did everybody read the note? Is everybody aware of what the note says?
Yeah, I was gonna say like Davros can be. What about that other one, Abter? Maybe he knows what's. Maybe they know what's going on. Maybe we should make our way down there.
Oh, that's after. Like the B is an F.
Okay, well, I mean, it's not out of character for Davros to have misread that. So
No, but part of what I was cluing you guys into is that it says 2 hours after dusk. It is dusk right now. They have somewhere to be. So if you guys go to the cops and you turn in a dead body, you're gonna be talking to the guards for hours.
I say to the group, we'll take the young miss to her work, and we will take the boys with us or store them at a location, and we will investigate the other whereabouts of this other half of the letter.
We've taken everything off of the dead one. You could just
Yes,
pile him in those boxes.
I have can I pick up all his belongings and the silver and gold and stash it in a pocket?
You most certainly can.
Yeah, I begin to do that. If you want, we could leave the dead body here in a barrel. Is there any barrels around?
I'd just say, yeah, there's refuse that you guys could hide a body inside of.
Would you want me to hide the body? We could take the unconscious one with us and question him while we do our good deed with taking her to where she is. I don't particularly want to drag a dead body halfway across town.
Absolutely. I would, yes, let's leave the body here, and we will take her along with the unconscious fellow, and we'll take them to her look where she's going, and then we can question him once he comes around.
Am I able to take the axe when I am putting him down out of his head and hand it back to Doros?
Yeah, I mean, again, theoretically, Eugene has pulled out his axe. He's not like just left
Yes.
it in there.
I've pulled it out and I've wiped the blood from the blade.
Okay. I begin to look at everybody to see if any of us have blood spatters on us. Do I see any on us on our clothing?
You guys definitely look like you just murdered people.
So I begin to stash the dead body and say to the group, before we go to this group and drop her off, would you want to find a well or some sort to try and get this blood stain off us before it dries?
Yes, it would probably be best not to walk around town looking like we just murdered someone.
Yeah, that was my thought exactly. I finished stuffing the dead body into a container of sorts and stand back up. And could I resheath the longsword to my back?
Yeah, none of that takes really much of any effort. Like to resheath your sword. If you guys are looking to wash yourselves off, you have like water containers on you. You can use water now with the fresh blood to try to clean yourselves. But you're still hanging around the scene of the crime doing this.
I say to the group, we will. Well, now that we've stashed the dead body, we now get going and we can wash ourselves on the move.
Agreed.
I'm gonna stay like watching down that hallway, and as I do, I'm gonna just say to the party, we may have engaged here for a noble cause, but if we leave the scene of a crime without reporting it, are we not criminals?
I tend to say to him, we will be coming back after we've done a deed. If we wait any longer, more than likely this time that this person I'd searched had on him is going to go, and they're going to start asking questions if no one shows. We could report it later. We could do the rest of our good deed later on. But for this time being, would you rather help someone and find out why this occurred and try to stop it from happening again?
You use the term later so casually, but later we will be wanted men. Perhaps we need to make a decision. We either go to the authorities or we take care of the evidence. And I'll look over at the other guy who's unconscious.
Anyone asks, he walked into a door. You're just bringing him back home. Maybe he had a bit too much to drink. Something
He's a
like
young
that.
child, man. He can't drink. For fuck's sake.
He will have seen us and be able to identify us to his friends or the authorities. We must.
I don't know about that. He hit him pretty hard, so he's more than likely going to wake up and go, "What the fuck happened?"
Let's not forget he's a pale dog. Guards aren't going to give him much credence, whatever he says. But I agree. Let's just get a move on.
We also have to be available to be at the warehouse in 2 hours, so that we can find what this purpose of this attempted kidnapping was.
So do I see any activity in the alley, or still just the one sleeping guy?
Roll an insight check for me.
Damn, I keep using the other thing.
You're
16.
starting to wonder if that person is awake and they have not only been listening to you guys, but that they are actively like trying to hide from you at this point. Maybe it's the type of thing that you can like kind of notice, like their breathing is quickened from the last time you peeked out of this alley.
Okay, I got you. I'm gonna just look back around the corner real quick and say, "There's a witness."
If you want, we can. I whisper this. If you want, you can stay here and deal with him. Take them both to the guards. We will escort them in and then go to the warehouse if you want to meet us there.
If you take them to the guards, we're going to be tied up for hours and hours explaining what happened.
But it'd only be one of us. The rest of us could do the warehouse. If one of us go, make it look like that they found them unconscious and they didn't know what happened to them.
I don't feel comfortable splitting up.
I don't think that's a good idea either. I'm gonna just poke around the corner and just kind of stand on the edge with like my bloody part of my head still hidden, but just keep an eye on that guy.
And I begin to wash the blood off of me, and I re-get the guy out of the barrel and chuck the water canteen to Cesarum and say, "Wash yourself. We're gonna go to the guard station and sort this out. And if you want, you can grab him as well."
So is everybody thinking take them to the guards?
I don't think that's the best idea.
I don't think so either.
If we have to go to the guards, I'll do what you think. But I have work to do. I don't know why they attacked me. I don't know. Can we go to St. Gustav's? Brother Fabiator, he knows what's best to do and make a decision. He can help.
I look at the sun. Do we have time for that? Like, how far is the sun from 2 hours after?
How far is the witness from where we are?
Theoretically, just in what is it, like Tavern Row, probably across from where it says 191 there. He's not far from where you guys are, probably closer than that, really. But effectively, it's somebody who's sleeping near you guys.
Okay. Would it be within range? Well, that's an action. To use divine, I was thinking divine sense to see if I sense any.
I mean, you're welcome
keyhole.
to divine sense if you would like.
I use divine sense, then I can determine whether this person is malevolent or not. So I think that's what I want to do.
I feel like divine sense is a little bit different than just malevolent. It's actually what kind of like being they are.
Oh, okay.
You might be
It's,
thinking of detect good and evil.
yeah, that's probably what it is. I was thinking fiend as in just a bad person, as opposed to like a, you know, type of individual, type of being. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that doesn't help.
If you ever go to the necropolis, don't use divine sense because you will scare the shit out of yourself.
Yeah.
Well, let's take this woman where she wants to go, then head to the warehouse, see if we can figure out what's going on.
I agree. Take the unconscious one with us.
It doesn't weigh too much. I have no issue dragging him, carrying him along.
Okay. Then we should head out.
We're not going to be able to sneak around a city full of people with a nearly dead man.
We don't really need to sneak. We can just say that he was drunk. He fell down a flight of stairs. We're taking him home.
You forget he's a child. And he maybe looks young, and people are gonna assume some shit's gonna happen there. They're gonna start asking questions.
So, like, I'm picturing this guy that's knocked unconscious have just been, like, bludgeoned with the maul. So, like, there's no hiding that what's going on here, no?
I'm thinking the same thing as you.
I feel like we're at a crossroads where it's like, look, we either do the right thing, go to the police, lose the lead, or leave these people, go about our business, and hope that they don't find us, but we're probably wanted, or destroy the evidence.
Well, here's the thing. I still have the letter on me, so we could either drop them both, leave them in the alley, take her to where she needs to go, and then go to the warehouse.
The guards stop us. We just tell them we were going their direction anyway.
Well, at this point, I've washed the blood off me, and at that action, we could all then while walking, also wash the blood off you as well. If anything, by that time we reach the guard station, all of us will have washed that blood off us. They might ask some questions about what damage has the other. Oh, I've got his name now. Has to him, like, is he bruised up? How is he looking? Not on about the two men that we attacked and talked about, or party member.
Seraph has a head wound. Even with magical healing, the head wound's going to remain for some time. But in the long run, you guys have a few things that you are ignoring as well. You know these are pale dogs. Pale dogs are the reason the guards don't go into the warrens. They are known criminals. You guys have the choice of go to the guards, turn these people in, and basically lose your lead, or you can try to track this down and basically just discard one body as if it's trash and, interrogate the person that you still have. But the difference is you guys know these are criminals. This world knows they are criminals. It's just a question of how good are you?
I say leave them both. Leave them both. Take her to work. Continue on with our lead at the warehouse.
I'd still prefer to question in this one if I can, but that's what you all think. All right.
I tear a piece of clothing off my torso and hand it to Sarah and go, tie your head to stop it from bleeding.
Yeah. The blood is healed. Like it's the weird level of like the healing does something, but it doesn't change the fact that like he still had a wound there.
Oh,
But it's not currently.
then I say to him to cover the wound, so if anyone asks, just say that it's a hair tie.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wearing like a full-on like red turban headpiece, so I'll be able to like cover up my wound pretty well.
So, do you guys have a decision? Turn them in to the guards, or are you going to like, or is that still a choice that you guys are entertaining, going to the guards?
I mean, it's a choice I'm entertaining because we know that they're criminals, and we know that there's going to be a fair sum of money from their capture, maybe even a reward of some sort. That is what I'm picturing in my mind. Even if it costs one of us going to the guards, I'm more than willing to be that person and hand over the note to whoever and taking the young miss with me and allowing the other group to go to the warehouse and meeting them there.
You have to convince 2 other people to go to the guards with you. Then you guys have to find a majority here. 3 people is what it's going to take for you to make a decision, but you've
I,
got to pick one or the other.
well,
Going to the guards, you're going to miss your lead, and you're going to be questioned for the rest of this night as if you were potentially the criminals. And that's where you have to make that choice, is what are you guys going to do?
why would I need 2 people?
Because we're not just splitting the party over. You have to get a group majority to actually make a decision here, because you need to get everybody there, or you have to get everybody behind your plan of going to the guards with less people. But my point is you guys need to, as a group, make a decision what you're going to do here. If it's 3 people go this way and 1 person goes to the guards, you should also recognize that 1 person going to the guards is going to potentially put you in the situation where your story doesn't make sense and you're going to look like a criminal. If the whole group goes forward and goes to the guards, your story makes a lot more sense and you don't look like a criminal, but you lose your lead.
I say we dump the unconscious and escort the young miss to her work, or ask her if she could make it on her own and go about the lead.
I think the lead is more important.
All right. Yep. Yeah. Davros will essentially just drop the kid.
I dropped the dead body from what I had recently picked up from out the barrel and put him back in it.
So we got the group as go forward with the lead.
Well, we're still waiting on Sorok's decision.
Oh no, I definitely think that's the way to go.
Gotcha. So you guys can effectively get those 2 bodies like into the alleyway, and they are somewhat hidden. You guys can walk down with Fawn as you follow Crispin Street. You are going to very quickly recognize that you are walking past Able Row. It is halfway between Crispin Street and the end of this block that you're going to spot Able Row. That's where your warehouse is. So somewhere along that road to the northeast of you, there's a red warehouse. You can, if you would like, follow further with Fawn and take her to work. Or as you guys have already expressed, you can ask her, do you feel comfortable? She's going to respond, I didn't know that I shouldn't feel comfortable before. So yes, I do. And then you guys can decide, do you want to head there early? Or you could still escort her and potentially get back here before that 2 hours. You're probably around like an hour and a half or less to that meeting.
I asked the young lady if she is okay to walk by herself, and then asked the party if they are okay with her walking by herself.
If she feels safe, I'm fine with her walking by herself.
Madame, before you were attacked, did you feel safe?
Again, I said all of this. She didn't know that she felt that she was supposed to not feel safe. She feels safe enough. She's got like doubt in her voice because she's never been attacked before. But yeah, she more or less feels safe. It's walking another like 15, 20 minutes, a couple of blocks.
I asked the group, does anyone have a dagger or something that she can use to protect herself if this happens again while she's walking?
She's going to turn it down. She's not going to carry a weapon.
I say to the young lady, it's for your own safety. No one, it's late at night. There is hardly anyone in the wake. You were lucky this time. If you do not protect yourself, what could happen next time?
Lothian protects me. And she'll look towards Seraph and say, I am most certain Lothian is the reason you arrived tonight. I don't need any weapons, nor will I harm another to protect myself.
Indeed, Lothian protects us all, and it was no coincidence we ran into you, but I'm not convinced that our job here is done. So what was the actual note? I can't find where that was like posted up.
Go to Great Hall.
So
Go to what?
it's sitting in Discord. If you look in the Guild Hall chat on Discord, you should be able to look at the note like whenever you want to at that point. But I can switch you guys back over to it in Owlbear.
I just added you in the channel where it is, Seraph.
But Fawn Quarter Male, third door, western side of Crispin Street, black hair, young. After the Red Warehouse on Abel Row, 2 hours after dusk, Theode.
And today is Theo Day.
Yeah, we're good for that.
Yeah.
Normally the dates are going to match up where Theo Day would be if we're playing on a Thursday, but the fact of the matter is I wasn't remaking this little.
Yeah.
Wait, how tall is this young lady? Is she like 5'5", 5'6"? Is she like any
Yeah, mid 5 foot.
5 foot? I crouch down and look at her in the eyes and say sincerely, are you 100% sure that you would prefer no weapons, any kind of protection? Are you 100% sure that you would feel safe walking 10, 15 minutes to your work? So then we have at least a conscious mind, you know. If you do take a weapon, we have like a clear conscience that you will be okay with that.
You can roll an insight check as she says the same thing. She doesn't want to harm somebody else.
D20, correct?
Indeed.
It's going to be a 10.
Yeah, she seems sure enough.
I say to the group, well, if you are okay with this, and then I say we separate our ways. There is no use in trying to convince her. If we get there early, we can scope out and we'll form a later plan. If not, we could always come back afterwards with all the notes that we have, strike it in the day where we know it's going to be less busy. Mostly there are going to be probably more than a few couple in there. There's probably about 6, maybe 7 people in there. You know, we almost had a close encounter today. You know, what else might happen?
I investigate an early look if we can. Sure the miss can take care of herself from here.
I think it would be good if we could get there and position ourselves to see who comes and goes, if anyone.
What do you think, Sark?
Leaving this woman alone moments after she was nearly killed seems like the wrong decision to.
But it's either that take her to work and possibly miss out on people coming and going from the warehouse. You know, we may get there 10, 15 minutes before they arrive. You know, and miss out on knowing how many people exactly are there and formulating a proper plan.
How about if two of us go to the warehouse and stake it out, while the other two take her, and then we'll meet up after when the other two get back. We can discuss we what we've seen and heard.
I'm okay with that. I would like myself, whoever else would want to come with me to the warehouse. I'm as you can see, I'm in all black. I can very mysteriously fade into darkness and find out information if need be. Even if the warehouse is dark, I can look around.
I do not have a good stealth. I'm wearing this big chainmail armor. So it might be best for me to go with the young lady and anyone else who would like to join. But get you in the shadows watching the entrance and someone maybe on the other side watching the any other doors or windows where people would come and go.
Who else has can blend in like I can?
Perhaps splitting the party is not the best idea. I was nearly killed moments ago by two of these, one of them a child. Is this really the decision we want to make?
That was a lucky shot.
It was destiny, no doubt, that I fell and that I rose again.
Okay then, well, if you're indecisive and Doris is not bothered, then I say we escort her 15 minutes. And I start walking ahead of the group.
This will give us a little time to devise a plan and clean ourselves up.
All right.
You said we probably have like what, 2 hours? So I mean, we still have plenty of time to take her
I know
there.
it's less than that, it's an hour and 45, I think you said.
You're looking at if you take her to where she's going, you might be able to arrive back at that warehouse with still about an hour before the meeting time.
I turn to the group and say, if we run, we could get there faster. After we've escorted her, obviously.
Running for extended periods of time can also exhaust you.
Short bursts.
Let's just get her where she needs to go and come back.
So,
Should have enough time.
I agree.
Alright, let's get going.
So you all can continue to head down Crispin Street. You kind of follow it to its close on Crispin Close, and I believe that cuts across and takes you over to Nar Street, where you can then kind of turn left onto Nar. She kind of walks down like a few more blocks. Doesn't seem to be a whole lot going on here. Probably about 10 or 15 minutes to make it here. And you see as she opens up the shop sachets, and you can see like a bunch of fine kind of clothing, predominantly dresses and like long garments for women, nicer things, not necessarily work gowns, like in like some like really fine things might be in the window. But overall, it's kind of like a nicer shop to kind of get like fine clothing from. And she kind of like will turn to you all. I thank you all very much for the escort, and may Lothian bless you all. I thank you again. You've saved my life this evening.
Be-
Best wishes to you all.
Before she goes inside, I ask her if she has anything of a hooded cloak in back.
Roll a D100.
$71.
Most of our hooded cloaks are in really fine silks. I think they start at 5 or so gold. But yes,
May I see one of them, please, miss? Did you catch that?
my bad. Her footsteps are pretty seamlessly as she like steps into this place. She'll probably leave you guys behind pretty quickly before kind of turning and saying, "If you just wait there." And she continues to walk back. You can tell she's got a familiarity with this place. Walking in the dark and such as is not difficult for her. And after a few minutes, she'll come back out of the back. And there's a lot of, probably has like 3 or 4 different hooded cloaks that she has here. Um, the like low price one looks like effectively a black cloak with a hood on it, and that's what she's got for 5 gold. Up to one that you can see like a gold embroidery around the edge that she's got for 12.
I ask her how many black cloaks she has.
These are the 4 closest, but none of them are actually black. This one is a midnight blue. This one is cephalian purple, and then these 2 are both kind of a blend of the same cephalian purple, with the bases being closer to the midnight blue. They actually revolve around the sunset of the fall, and she's just going to go off on a story. This is high fashion.
Um, does she have multiple of that midnight blue cloak? Or is there just one?
Just one. It's those 4 cloaks. You've got 5 gold, 7 gold, 12 gold, or 10 gold and 12 gold.
I look at the group and say, which one would you guys prefer? We're gonna need these to make make it harder for them to see us. Obviously, they're not the best, but they may hide our faces while we do in our investigation.
Are these ladies' cloaks?
Their cloaks, they're perhaps designed a little bit more for the feminine form, but they are still large garments. They should cover you, probably. And she'll like look to, I think 2 of you are kind of like a little bit above 6 foot, I think you described. She'll look to those 2 like, it's probably not going to cover your boots, but
Yeah, Davros is gonna kind of just shake his head. Not really my style.
I ask her if I could try the midnight blue one on.
you certainly can.
How does it fit? Does it hide me well enough? How does it? How is the comfort in it?
Yeah, you're over 6 foot. And you said, I'd say overall, like it's not the best cloak for you, but it is a dark cloak that you can cover your body with.
How much of the body is it covering? Is it covering past legs? Is it covering past the torso?
It's probably to your ankles.
Is my sword still predominantly poking out from above my?
You've got a great sword. This
Yes.
cloak covers your greatsword, none at all. You have to have your greatsword on the outside of the cloak.
I take out the 4 gold that I acquired from earlier and 1 gold from out of my pouch and give it to the young lady.
Thank you all.
It is okay, man. If you guys would want a cloak, it may help in the disguises. If you don't feel comfortable wearing one, it's perfectly fine.
I would probably take one because of my armor. I need something that will cover that to make me look less obtrusive.
I hand him was it 7 silver coins?
I have no clue what I told you.
418 silver coins is what you picked up. No, just messing.
I was going to say, if he had that much on him, Jesus Christ. I remember the gold coins, but I couldn't remember. I think it was 7 silver. How much?
I think you're right.
How many silver is it to 1 gold? Is it 10 silver to 1 gold?
10.
I hand Bob the 7 silver coins and go, that is to help you with the pay.
Thank you, my friend. And I reach into my pouch and bring out the rest.
So it's like 6 gold, 3 silver.
Right.
And then that one I think I described was the other blue cloak. Both of them are essentially extremely dark blue cloaks. But you guys can both write down like fine blue cloaks. Or fine dark blue cloaks. And she'll escort you all back to the door, kind of lock the door back behind you, and you guys can head on your way back towards Able Row. Let's take a break here. I need to go to the restroom. We'll come back in 15 minutes. So like 20 till the hour is when we'll come back. If everybody is back before then, we will get started before then. But otherwise, let's take a break here.
No worries.
Yep, sounds good. I'm back.
Excellent. I am back as well. Bob just lost power, so we're trying to see how he can get back in.
Okay.
Excellent. Can you hear us, Bob?
Trying to get my headphones connected.
That sounded good.
Talk to me. Okay.
Can you hear us all right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'm back.
Yeah, I'm here as well.
Let me have the first person who can roll a D100. Throw a D100 for us, please.
10.
18.
So you guys make it back to Able Row. Probably about. Are you good, Bob?
Yep.
All right, cool. So you guys make it back to Able Row. Probably about another like 30, maybe a little bit less has kind of gone by. But you have a pretty solid idea. Actually, you know what? Let me get a perception check from anybody who is proficient in perception. Oh, that may be none of you. Yeah.
I'm +6.
You have proficiency, though?
That's a red dot, right? Yeah, I have proficiency.
Oh, maybe you didn't have all of yours done when I filled out your character. I thought it would seem like you had too few for a cleric. I have you with athletics, insight, and persuasion.
No, I got perception, persuasion, investigation, insight, and athletics. They're all proficiency.
Yeah, what's it been before you finish? But did you roll one, the 11 plus 6, 17? Yeah,
Yeah,
you can
17.
hear as you guys like kind of like come up on Able Row and start to like spot this red warehouse or this red building that fits the idea of this red warehouse. You will actually hear the bell toll from Delver's Square that tells you that it is, let's call it 7 p.m. Assuming dusk was at like 5:30, 6 o'clock. You're approaching about an hour to that meeting time when you guys get back to this warehouse.
I look.
I just like let everybody else know what time it is.
So the warehouse itself has the northern side of the warehouse facing like Able Row, and the south side opens up to kind of like the back alley or like the back alley. Yeah. I do not think it's actually on this map, at least not how, for instance, the map that I'm going to have for it goes. But you basically have, if you guys scout it out ahead of time, you've got the opportunity to go into a door on the north side on Able Row or on the south side away from the main road. I guess really it's probably still on Crispin Close. I feel like that's kind of a route around that little area that's called Longbow.
I look around to see if I can find any ladders or things I can use to climb up to a high enough vantage point.
What do you want to do on a high vantage point? There's plenty of buildings that you could climb onto, and you could get onto the roofs.
I want to see if I could see any windows above, like on the second story, to see if I can look into and down into the warehouse.
I don't think there's any reason to say there are any windows on this place at all. It has a partial second story, so you feel like you could get up and like have a way to like that there might be a second like story or even a loft inside of there. But going around the building, I don't think there's any reason to say that there are any windows at all. This is a place for storage. It's not a place for looking.
All right, how would you guys want to proceed? If you want, I could take the high vantage point, and you guys can look around for how many exits they are, and I can get see if there's a van, like a way in from above.
So are you looking for a way that we can stealthily enter the building without being seen from coming in like through one of the main doors?
Yes.
Okay. Why don't we just take a walk around the building to see what we know? There's a front, we know there's a back. We don't know what's in the back because we've only looked at it from the front so far. We see if we can scout the perimeter to see what options we have for entrance. And
Yeah, we could do that.
That's what I was saying. You've got a northern entrance on the road, and then there's a back entrance that is like on the alley behind Able.
oh, okay. So we've already scouted that part out. We know what is what then.
Indeed, yes.
Okay. All right.
But what we don't know is if there's like a little hatch or something, because if it's a storage, there must be like some like, because obviously there's fires predominant. There must be like a thing to open up so it can escape through there, or something of that nature, like maybe like a window or a hatch.
So the back side of the building, does it have large doors? Like
Double door
where
in the front on the main road and a single door on the back.
hmm,
The thing is, whoever this is, we don't know what we're going to be expecting. Obviously, if I was a criminal, I'd expect to come through the back, especially after beating someone up.
yeah, I would agree. You would think that they would try to stealthily bring Fawn in through the back door to avoid any
Eye
kind of
contact.
suspicion from the front.
Yeah, and that's why my inclination is if I could get up and if there's a hatch on top, that would be an appropriate entry. If we go through the front, we're going to obviously the double doors. There's going to be probably creaking because they're not probably well used. So
A lot of
we're
light
gonna,
coming in at the
yeah,
same time that you open that door.
yeah. If we go through the back, yes, it may not be as well lit, but they're probably going to be expecting them to come through.
I'm wondering what kind of items are stored in this warehouse. Because with just a double door in the front and a single door in the back, it's not very large items being brought in.
It's probably more than likely going to be items of clothing, items of value. Anything that they could probably make a profit on, I'm guessing.
Do we even know anyone's here right now? I mean, we're early, wasn't that the point? Maybe we should try and get inside and scope out within.
I mean, I can go in if need be. I can have a look. We can see what the doors do. We can see if they are all open. If we could try them.
Around back then?
I would think.
Round back makes more sense because obviously the front's going to be after. It's probably going to be locked. It's not going to be open. If you think about it, they're going to be expecting them to come through the back after kidnapping a young lady. They're going to come through the back. They're not going to want to hit the main road. Everybody's either going to be coming home at this time or be coming home drunk.
Or just going out. Just leaving to go out.
Yeah, exactly. So, I could always climb up, see what's up above, and then come back down if you guys want to try the door.
I think that would be a good plan. We can just get inside the door and wait right inside.
Yeah.
Listen, view whatever we can see. Does anybody have dark vision?
I believe you are all humans.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I think the best course of action would be to go in as stealthily as possible, or either look to see if there's an entrance from the top that we can look through. Because it's obviously a storage unit of some sorts. There must be another exit. Yes, there's two main ones, but there must be one that people may not think about on the second floor.
I don't know why you keep saying there must be. You guys have scouted this place out. There are two entrances. The front door with two doors and the back door with one door.
Because I'm thinking of reality.
Just allow this to be a simple warehouse. You've got to pick one of those doors, and you guys are either going to pick it, or you're going to like to break in, or you're going to stay outside and watch somebody go in. But you guys have to pick one of those two.
What do you want to do, guys? You want to take a? We'll wait for. Well, what? How long will it? I'll look up.
Well, we have about an hour
Yeah.
before the meeting was supposed to take place.
So do we go inside, have a look around 15, 20 minutes, and then come back out and wait if we don't see anyone inside? If they are inside, remember that we have to keep Sauron to the back because obviously he is still probably in from earlier.
So I'd say let's just go around back, try and get inside, and see what we see.
All right. I start to walk to the back door.
Does anybody have thieves' tools that they can pick a lock?
I do not. I have Smith's tools. I don't know if there's anything that could be improvised to from that, but no thieves' tools.
Smith's tools would be at least a hammer, and if we had to.
So, I mean, Davros is more than willing to try to break the door down if it comes to that. But
So nobody has any thieves' tools. You guys have break the door down or scope it out and wait for somebody to come.
Or we have a third option.
we could just knock.
I walk up to the door, turn the handle, and it opens. It's not
It
locked.
does not. It is locked.
Ah, damn it. It's locked, guys.
I don't know if you guys noticed, but I'm trying to speed this up because I want you to get to the conclusion of this before we end here. And that's part of why I was saying you've already scoped this place out. You have 2 entrances. That's me trying to speed it up and get you to decisions so we actually move the story forward.
So we force the door.
No, wait. I knock on the door, see if anyone will answer.
You knock, wait a few moments, nothing happens.
Break it down.
All right, stand back.
Let me get a strength athletics from you, Davros.
All right. I have inspiration from last session. Can I use that?
100%.
Yeah. 15.
Roll. Roll a d6 for me.
2.
So as you kind of like smash into the door with your shoulder, you do start to break it loose. You'll hear kind of like a little bit of like a shattering as some of the wood kind of starts to like splinter and give way to your shoulder. And as you're going for like a second kind of like a little bit of a smash into this doorway, you're going to hear from behind, right as you like smash into it again and kind of start to fall through the door, you're going to hear from behind you, "Hey, you, what are you doing there?" And let me have the 4 of you place yourselves at that back door.
Can't find me.
Once you've dropped yourself, it should be in the top right. You may not have dropped your character into Owlbear Rodeo, though.
Okay, where is my character? I mean, I'm trying to see this on my phone, and it's like
Yeah,
super
now you're on your
small.
phone. Let's see. Did you send me your character on Discord?
I did not. But he was on there a minute ago.
Wait, who's dragging my characters? I can view your profile, but I can't save it. So you're gonna have to have a placeholder.
Nope.
So you hear from behind you down the alleyway as two people kind of yell out, "You! What are you doing?" What is everybody thinking as Davros kind of smashes through that back door?
I turn and say to the gentlemen that are coming down, sorry lads for the noise, we have misplaced our key.
Roll a deception check at disadvantage. So 2d20 and let me know what it is. And then 9. Do you have deception? Anything giving you a plus or minus in deception? So he pulls out a key and kind of like is dangling it in front of his face as he looks at you and he's like, "That's funny. Telion didn't actually tell me anyone else should be here tonight."
Can I kind of like creep back towards that corner there?
You can make a stealth check and you can try to. What are you thinking?
In case like shit busts out again, I don't want to just get randomly like run and knocked down with the first strike.
Gotcha. Yeah, you can definitely try to stealth over there. But at present, like the four of you have already been seen.
I grab the letter from out of my pocket and say, I was given this by a young boy and was told to wait here. And we thought the door would be unlocked and none of us could find the key for it.
Any thoughts from Eugene or Davros? What are you two doing in this moment?
Yeah, so Davros, after kind of like getting the door mostly broken down and then hearing this, and is going to kind of maybe like try and dust himself off, move to stand beside the other one, but he is mostly just kind of like he's just going to kind of like cross his arms over his shoulders and maybe be like as he sees him taking out the letter and saying this like so you're the ones we're supposed to be meeting here then, just trying to back up the story.
And Eugene, what
And
are you doing?
I'm going to move. Oh, hang on. That was weird. I'm going to move over here with them as well to just give my moral support and be ready
Gotcha.
if anything goes down.
Can you roll that stealth check for me, Seraph?
Oh my bad, I rolled it on Owlbear Radio. I got 12 with disadvantage.
And do you want to move yourself to where you were going? Just around that corner, I think you said.
How do you move yourself?
Oh, you might need. Oh, that might be because again, you have Brave. You might have to turn off the Brave locks.
Oh, it let me move the random counter that's like by us, but not my actual counter.
Yeah, Brave and Owlbear Rodeo are not fans of each other. I think it's just turning off the Brave shields where it has the little line in the top right of like your browser window. But I moved you over there for now. Yeah, and I think at this point here we're going to go to initiative as you pull out the letter and the two of them pretty quickly look at each other, look back at you guys, and they're starting to draw weapons. So if you guys can all roll initiative, that would be a great start.
That's a 4 for me. But it wasn't that one, so I guess are we using that inspiration system, right?
Yep, you'll gain an.
I'm a 16.
Just a standard D10, isn't it?
Yeah, D20 plus your initiative bonus. I got a 3.
18.
All right, Zabuza. So as they start to draw their weapons and kind of like look at each other, responding to your note, like holding out the note, what would you like to do?
I proceed to go, well, lads, we were told to come here. We're not here to start a fight. I tried to de-escalate the situation.
Gotcha. Is that what you're thinking? You can roll a persuasion with that. Otherwise, if you have any other thoughts on how you would like to dissuade the or de-escalate the situation, you can let me know any other thoughts you have there.
I'm thinking at the moment. I'm either thinking to go. I was just told to come here. We've lost the key, and go. There were. I don't know, I'm trying. I can't think at the moment.
Gotcha. Go for your initial one and just let me get a persuasion from you there.
$17.
So Eugene, you see as Zabuza is trying to convince them that you guys belong. You guys aren't going to get a chance to see immediately how these two are reacting until it is actually their turn to act. So what are you thinking as Zabuza is trying to convince them that you belong here? What is Eugene going to do?
Well, as Eugene sees these men pulling their weapons, he's going to hold up his hand and say, "Fellas, fellas, fellas, no reason for violence. We're here for you. This is what we were told to do. Why are you being so aggressive?" While he's taking out his battle axe and preparing for melee.
That's it. Drawing a weapon is always going to be a hostile action. So you can try to say one thing, but if you're drawing your weapon at the same time, that's still hostile.
They drew their weapons first. I'm just drawing mine in reaction and telling them to chill out.
I'm just saying, you're no longer telling them to chill out if you two are drawing weapons. If you want to not draw your weapon, you can see if you guys can de-escalate it. But you're throwing away de-escalation if you draw your weapon.
Then we're gonna throw away de-escalation. I'm gonna draw my weapon so that I'm ready in case they attack.
Gotcha. So you can pull your weapon out with your free action. You
Yep.
can either save your action for a trigger that will cause you to react and do something. Like, for instance, somebody getting close enough for you to attack. That can be the trigger, and you can make an attack action if that happens. Otherwise, you could take like the dodge action if you want to be harder to hit yourself. What would you like to do with your action?
I'm just gonna hold it for now for a reaction.
Or what is your trigger?
Them
That's where you have to
moving.
define what it is.
Oh, okay.
So them moving is something, but you've got a close range weapon. If them moving causes you to attack, it's going to kind of waste it. Like them moving up to you is enough that you can attack them.
Okay, if they move to attack me when they get into range, I'm going to attack them.
Gotcha.
Does
In
that work?
range for you to attack, and you'll attack them.
Yes. Does that? I mean,
Excellent.
this is my first time, so
No,
yeah.
that's why I'm coaching you through it. Is I'm trying
Yeah,
to
yeah.
take what you're saying to you and trying to tell you what the trigger can be at that point.
Right. So
It is
does that
going.
work? That
It does indeed.
okay.
Alrighty. Let's see. The one is going to continue kind of like moving forward as he's like pulling out his own sword, kind of like moving forward casually. He's trying to kind of hide like this fact that he's moving in, but when he gets up to you, you can make your attack with your battle axe.
Okay.
Um, 15 plus your modifier should be a hit.
Man, this screen is really small. Oh, you already rolled it, so I'm sorry. So 15, my modifier is
Yeah, you should already have a hit with that.
okay.
But what's your damage? Can you roll your damage dice for you said great axe?
Battle axe. Okay. 1d8 plus 2. 5.
Great. So as you cut into him with your battle axe, he's going to kind of move up to you, stabbing out at you with his sword. Um, Looking like it'll stop on the 12. Gonna fall over to the 10. Stop on the 10. 14 to hit you.
No, that's a miss. So my shield blocks his sword.
Gotcha. Yeah. So you kind of defend wait. You can't have a shield on if you've got a battle axe.
Well, it's a single-handed weapon. It's versatile. I can swing it one-handed. I just rolled as a one-handed swing. Otherwise, it'd be a 1d10.
Okay, I'm thinking of the wrong axe then, because I felt like the way you had it, you were going to be your hand axe if you had your shield out. But yeah, you can defend away his attack as he tries to stab forward at you, and it's going to go to Davros.
Yeah, so Davros is kind of, as this is happening, he is walking up towards the other one, and he's like, kind of like, this is all just a big, and it's like, even as he's saying this, he's pulling the maul, his maul out from behind his back, big, and a misunderstanding, and he's kind of timing his swing with the maul as he says, like, misunderstanding, but swinging out at this guy. Yeah, and I'm going to go ahead and use my inspiration.
Gotcha. You can roll that with advantage.
Ooh, 15.
15 is going to miss. Nope, the 15 is a hit. As you smash into his chest, you kind of hear the ring of mail underneath his shirt. And damage?
So that is going to be for 11 damage.
Would you like to knock him unconscious?
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
So as you kind of like move forward, this one has a like longbow out, and he's already like drawing an arrow back. As you kind of like move forward, you're able to just like club him right on the button, bring it up under his chin, and this just guy just goes down limp and is just gonna kind of like fold up on himself as he kind of like sinks down to the ground. And it's gonna go to Seraph.
So what? There's only just the one left right now, and I can't tell which one's the enemy.
It's the one with the hat on the bottom left.
Okay. The circle around the other one was throwing me off.
It's Van Helsing.
Okay, I got you. I will. I'll just hold up my hand with my sacred symbol in it and cast sacred flame at him.
I think your DC is 14.
Yeah, 14 dex save.
looking like it's going to bounce on the 14, so I will be able to kind of dodge out of the way and take no damage. Takes us back around to Sabuza. De-escalation has not worked. You can draw your sword and make an attack. You can do something else. What would you like to do?
I let go of the letter and begin to unsheathe my great sword. And is the assailant attacking on the floor yet from his attack, or is he still standing?
Still standing.
Okay. I take an upper swing, so to go lengthwise up his torso. With an 11.
As you draw up, he's just going to defend it away with his shield and just kind of like block your low strike. And you are welcome to move if you would like. Otherwise, it goes to Eugene.
Me?
Indeed.
Okay. I'm sorry. I kind of cut out there a second. Well, I am going to take another swing with my battle axe. I can. And that is
Solid hit with an 18.
22.
Roll for
Yeah.
damage.
Right. And I'm rolling D8. 7 plus
So
2,
as you're
9.
crushing into him, would you like to knock him unconscious or would you like to kill him?
No, let's just knock him out.
Gotcha. So you guys have knocked both of these guys unconscious. Davros has already knocked in the door here. What would you guys like to do?
Drag them inside.
And
Yep.
tell Zoros that its coast is clear. If he actually no, I asked Zoros to check the surroundings if anyone heard the commotion or if there's anybody else coming.
Let me have Seraph and Zabuza make a perception check here.
And Davros is just starting to drag the one body towards the door.
And I'm doing the same on the other body.
19.
13.
Looking around, town seems quiet and still, at least in this alley. You guys kind of get those bodies inside. At this point, you can pretty well see that there's kind of like an upper level that overlooks most of this warehouse to kind of the right of this back door. There's a few stacks of different goods inside of boxes and crates, but otherwise, this is vastly open space inside of this warehouse.
Yeah, so Davros's first thought is to check. He wants to look through while these guys are unconscious, check to see if maybe one of them has a letter similar to the others, or essentially just checking the bodies. Yeah.
You can do perception if you would like to look through both of them for evidence that's going to take you somewhere else. You can do an investigation over one of the bodies if you just want to clean out one of the bodies.
Yeah, I think he'll focus on one, maybe the one that called out to them, thinking maybe that one was like in charge. So whichever one had kind of called out, he'll focus on that one.
Gotcha. So it's the one that you did not knock out, but you can do a investigation and look over his corpse or his body at this point.
Ooh, that's a 0.
With a nat 1 or oh no, that's a 2.
No, that's a 2. I'm just that bad at investigation.
As he's looking through the one body, would anybody else like to investigate the other body?
Yes, I would.
So, Eugene, roll an investigation for me.
That one. +1. So that's a 1. It's a 2. I'm sorry. 1 and 1.
So you can, I don't know if you've got your actual, right now you're looking at like a paper sheet kind of thing, but normally in D&D Beyond in the top right, there's an inspiration that you can just click and it gives you inspiration and you can click to turn it off. When you roll in that 1, you gain inspiration. So you can have inspiration for Eugene right now. As the two of you guys look over these guys, they both have chainmail on. So if you'd like, you can strip them of their armor. They each have a shield. One of them has a long bow and a short sword, or one of them has a long bow, one of them has a short bow and a short sword.
Okay.
Oh, my bad. One of them has studded leather armor. The other one has the chain. So
Yeah,
studded leather, chainmail, short sword, short bow, and a long bow is what you guys can basically find from them at this point. They do not have any information that seems to lead you further.
and no money.
Not that you guys found.
Okay.
Yeah, so Davros is going to suggest we kind of maybe drag the bodies further if we can essentially try to conceal them from the entrance, like behind some of these crates, or maybe stack some crates on top of them.
Yeah, so I'm going to take the studded leather armor off of that one person and a short sword.
If need be, I have some rope that we can use to also tie them.
Yeah, good thinking.
Now, are those stairs to the right of the door that go up to the upper loft area? Is that what you were referring to?
Yeah, it's essentially just like an upper area to like look over the actual warehouse. There's nothing up there other than basically giving you a higher vantage point.
Okay. The first time I looked at it, it was all blacked out up there. I didn't.
Yeah, I think I just revealed it to you when you actually walked in. Davros really would have been the only one who had seen when I first revealed the first quadrant to him, but that's because he basically fell through the door as those guys were walking up.
Oh, I see. So what I want to do is I want to go up those stairs and take that high ground and pull my longbow out and just be ready with an arrow in case unwanted visitors come.
Gotcha.
I could get this thing to hold still so I could move my man, and it won't.
What's everyone thinking? Do you want to kind of like wait here and wait for these guys to wake up? Do you want to heal them and try to wake them up?
I get the rope out of my backpack and begin, after they have both been searched, to tie them, and then start to look around the boxes for anything that is worthwhile.
Do a sleight of hand for me. Seraph, what are you thinking?
Is it like well lit in here? Like, is there like fire or light or something?
Theoretically, whatever you guys have lighting so you guys can see is what we're dealing with right now. But what are you thinking?
Fall under?
I did not hear that question.
What would sleight of hand fall under?
Sleight of hand is towards the bottom of your skills. If you
I
don't
guess
know
I'll
that
just
for Go ahead, Seraph.
I guess I'll just like creep over the door and just keep lookout from the back door. I'm assuming like when the door was like smashed in, like the remnants fell inside. Is there like if there's any like bits around, I'll like gather them up so it's not obvious until you get like a good angle on it.
Gotcha.
door
You're
didn't
not like
come up.
using mending, but you're just trying to like place like the large chunk of the door where his shoulder went through and he knocked off like almost a shield sized piece of wood. You're putting that back like into the door.
Well, not necessarily into the door, but just making it so like if somebody approaches from the rear door, they would have to get like pretty close before they would notice the door has been like knocked down.
Gotcha.
And by the way, I rolled a 10.
Gotcha.
Yes, I think Davros is going to, now that we're inside, he's going to light up a torch so we can kind of have some visibility in here. Yeah, he had the same idea to maybe check one of these crates, just to, not so much necessarily to take, but kind of curious about, did they pick this place for a reason, or is this...
The two of you, Davros and Zabuza, you can do a investigation as you guys go through a couple of those crates there.
All right, it's a 16 that time for Davros.
What modifier would I add on to that?
Investigation.
It's an intelligence check, or intelligence skill.
I got a 9.
Looking through, you're going to see pretty quickly 2-3 crates. A lot of this is textiles. Occasionally you find stuff that is like finished and ready to go out to a shop. But most of this is like raw, like cotton already created into like a sheet, but it needs to be sewn into something kind of thing. And you go through probably like 5-10 of these before you kind of settle for. This is like the textile district. That's part of what the Midtown is. It's part of what you found with Seshez.
Wonder if maybe that's why they wanted her.
Yeah, I was thinking that myself. How much rope do I have left?
If you don't cut it, right now I've got them basically tied to each other with all of your rope. If you're cutting your rope, you can tell me how much you're cutting.
Can I cut? So can I wrap them up with a 10-foot rope? I think I have 50 feet rope. Sorry, can I cut?
Gotcha.
10
So
feet? Yeah.
I would say on Z&D Beyond, make sure to edit it so you've got like 2 different things of rope. One of them will be a 10-foot rope, and one of them will be a 40-foot rope.
Or I have rope as well. So if you need 50 feet, you don't want to cut your rope, and you want to can use mine.
How much rope do you have?
50 feet.
No, I'd prefer to cut it because we don't need to use all of the 50 feet to tie them both up. So
Okay.
if we put them back to back, you could probably get away with 10 feet, but I'll have to go in later and add the take away 10 feet.
Okay.
So can I do that action, please?
What are you trying to do?
I cut the rope and begin to gather some of the material that I can carry, and say to the group, we to take some of this back to the young lady we helped earlier for her business as a gesture.
All right, so you're gonna basically steal some of the cotton from this warehouse.
I want
like the textiles.
Yeah, pretty much.
So wait a minute, fellas. Wait a minute. She was doing the books for that shop. And this is a textile warehouse. Is it possible that she knows something about what's going on in this warehouse? And that's why she was being kidnapped in the first place? Or could it be something worse, that she is the leader of this gang? Have we established have we established who these other men are? What group do they belong to?
Don't believe we have.
Well, we could try and wake one of them up, ask him some questions.
Yeah. Dump some water on him.
Does
The
nothing. You guys
drummer.
have to heal them. You
Oh.
either have to use a healing spell or lay on hands. Right now, they are injured and unconscious, or they're going to wake up after a certain amount of time. You just don't know how much time.
Gotcha. Well, I'm down to only 3 more hit points of healing with my hands. Unless in the time that it took us to get to the warehouse and everything, some of those hit points were recovered. They would be
I'm
considered
pretty
a
sure your
run.
lay on hands is a long rest.
Okay.
If need be, if any of you have like any medicinals or anything of that nature, I can use medicine to wake them up.
I do not.
While looking, do we find anything that could be used to wake them up? Any herbs, like such
This
as
is
I know
textiles.
it's textiles, but is
Cotton,
there any
silks.
raw material like the
There is not. You guys have access to what you need to wake them up if you want to interrogate them right now. You have 2 different people who can heal them, but it is something that you cannot just do infinitely. It's going to cost you to heal them now. So it's either waste some time and wait for them to wake up, or use one of those healing things. But you guys can go through this warehouse and start using the time and find more and more textiles.
Is there a way for us to know how many hit points they need to be awakened?
1 hit point is awake.
1 hit point is awake. Okay. I will use one of my hit points.
I would
to,
use it on the one that approached us to begin with, so the one that made first contact.
The one that we think is the one in charge.
He seems the more out of the two that may. Who here has good intimidation?
I have
I'll make
+2
sure
intimidation.
Don't talk about it like that. Yeah, don't talk about it like that. You guys are strong. You guys are influential. There's a lot of different ways that you guys all excel. Kind of think about things outside of the actual like game mechanics.
And
Oh.
Davros might he'll kind of take out maybe one of the crueler looking kind of tools that would come with his smith's tools, and just kind of maybe kind of like be trying to like loom over this guy as he kind of nods to essentially let's wake him up.
So like pliers on his tongue kind of thing as Eugene's moving forward to bring him awake.
Yeah, something like that. Yep.
So you can heal him. Very quickly his eyes are gonna go like massive retinas as he like tries to bring in everything around him. You're holding like a torch over his head, you've got pliers to his tongue, and very quickly this guy's gonna kind of like panic and kind of recognizes the warehouse. You kind of see like an oh shit face.
So I crouch down to his level and begin to start saying along the lines of, "You're going to answer some questions. If not, my friend over here is going to start making your life even worse."
You try to yell,
Speak.
I pull.
Speak now or forever hold your tongue in your hand.
So you can go intimidation, and I can have Zabuza and Davros working together on that. You can each roll an intimidation.
Who is that rolling?
That was me.
Davros and Zabuza.
Okay.
Yeah, if can I use my strength modifier on this one, or if this would still be charisma?
Right now, you're not actually doing anything to like tear at his flesh. I'm gonna say this is a charisma.
Okay, so that's a flat 5 then.
Yeah, I feel like most of the time it's like, are you actively trying to hurt them? Strength makes a little more sense, or are you actively raging? And that makes more sense. But
Yeah,
what
yeah,
is that?
that's
That's a
why.
5 and a 6.
Yeah.
Sorry, no, it's just a nat 6. Sorry.
He just kind of like looks across you guys, and he's not even like motioning as if he's in the least bit afraid. As you've like got his tongue and you're threatening to like take it off.
Okay, I put my hands upon him and hold his head and tell him to rip one of his teeth out.
That's dark.
So, do you guys want to progress forward with torturing him?
I say yes. It's the only way we're going to get answers.
Have we even asked him a question yet?
No, but if he's staying silent, then I'm presuming he's not going to say it if we do ask him a question.
I think Davros is going to kind of like move the the pliers like kind of towards the tooth, but before he actually does anything, he'll just kind of like growl out, who are you meeting? Who are you intending to be meeting here, and why?
Ooh, rats. Mutts. It seems by the blood over some of your clothing that maybe they already found the end they deserve.
We had a run-in with a couple of dogs. That's what you're meaning.
And perhaps you've already done what I had hoped to do.
You mean kill them, don't you?
Just kind of looks at you.
So you were trying to lure him here. Why the letter? And he'll kind of gesture towards. Sorry, I forget. Was it
Zabuza.
Abuza who had the letter right from the Pale Dogs?
The letter's outside on the floor. I dropped it earlier.
They had work to do. Did you stop them?
In a sense, we did.
What's your interest in pawn?
Same interest everybody has. Coin.
This was money to you.
Everything is money.
So you were going to take a young girl minding her own business and sell it for coin?
A young pregnant girl.
You were going to get a 2-for-1 deal.
Is it slavery?
Reasons are reasons. Money's all it ever requires.
I look at Dax and tell him to remove his pliers and to retrieve his hammer.
Start with the pinky.
Yeah, so Davros is looking toward this guy. Is like, so I'm guessing you've done this plenty of times before. As he's kind of getting his hammer out.
Is Seraph still just watching the back door?
Yeah, I'll just keep lookout.
Work for coin is something we all have to do. You're an old man. You've probably done plenty of things.
It's not untrue, and I'm sure I'll do more before my time's up. But he's going to kind of like look to essentially hold down the guy's arm, and he's going to describe um, Dalton to this guy, and your work include grabbing somebody fitting that description.
Roll a.
Ooh. Insight
I
check.
feel like it's almost like persuasion at this point. You're trying to persuade him to give you some info on Dalton.
Yeah, I think
I
that
could
fits.
see it being an intimidation again, but if you guys do intimidation again, it's going to be a harder DC. This guy already is not like just going to crack to being intimidated. You could do insight check, but that's more after he gives a response.
Yeah, I think it's more persuasion. He's essentially like, give me an answer I want, or it's like a trade. Like I won't, hurt you.
Yeah.
But it's not so much intimidation because I'll do persuasion.
Yeah, it seemed like this was a kind of good cop moment on this thing.
Except that's a 2.
I don't know of anyone who would fit that bill.
So Davros is going to look towards the others, and just kind of like very, um, almost like looking for like, should I essentially like glancing toward a hammer, like should I, swing it down, break this guy's arm or hand?
Make sure it's his sword hand.
Yes, I think he'll take one hand and kind of go to try and cover the guy's mouth to prevent like an audible scream.
Need be, I can do that and also hold down his arm.
Yeah, and I think Davros is just going to go to essentially like smash like right into the center of his hand, trying to disable him and hurt him, obviously.
Gotcha. And what are you asking? Or at present, are you just smashing at it?
Yeah, I think like Davros he's frustrated. He didn't get like an answer, and he's just these guys are slavers, and at this point, yeah, he's just frustrated. So he's just bringing the hammer down, not even asking a
Stop
question
toying with
again.
us.
Gotcha. Go for it. Roll an attack.
To that one.
You can gain inspiration. Let me have you roll an intimidation at disadvantage, please.
And that will be a 5. Because he probably just completely misses the hand and smashes into the floor, not on purpose.
But did it shake the captive? Did it shake that guy, knowing that he was going to
He
smash his hand?
kind of pulls his hand at the last minute, and it's enough that he's still strong enough that he's able to pull it like away from where the hammer comes down, and kind of like looks back up at you and is like, never seen him. I've nothing to tell you about that one. You don't have to take my hand to hear that.
Tell us who you work for.
I work to put food in my belly.
Can I try to insight check that to see if I think he's lying? I think he's trying to essentially try to hide that maybe he's working for. Obviously, I wouldn't know who, but
You can roll an insight check here. I would say at very least across the group, the idea that somebody has no boss is probably a stretch. But that he's telling you a different kind of truth.
Okay, that will be an 18 on the insight.
I'd say you probably have a solid recognition that he's got a reason that he is here, and it is for somebody else. But that's kind of the end of that.
So you're saying you just picked their name out of a hat? What are you
It was actually
targeting?
off a note.
From who? Where's
So
the
I
note?
just lean down to Seraph and I say, if he's not the one who ordered the pickup, who is?
I honestly don't know. I'm not sure exactly where this is taking us or what answers we seek.
Want to know who ordered his people to pick up Fawn?
Or how he even knew about her being a child. And I turn to look at the guy and say, "You will not give us answers. Put it this way: you will meet your Lord and Savior, and it will not be nice."
This guy in general is pretty unshakable to intimidations at this point.
Okay, then at that point, I retrieve to get up and retrieve my longsword from my back, and begin to start swinging. Well, put my blade towards his throat, as I look like I'm getting ready to cut it off.
You can do one last intimidation, still at disadvantage.
Well, that's not going to even fucking bother, is it? Got a 5.
He just raises his chin to you, kind of presenting his Adam's apple.
You still have this note?
It's outside.
No, he's asking the guy. He said the guy got Fawn's name from a note. And I assume one of us could have picked the note up outside while we were dragging the bodies in.
Yeah, there's no reason that you guys don't have that note. You ask him if he still has the note and kind of like nods towards the note that you guys have.
So where'd you pick this up? How'd you get it?
So I think while this kind of continues on with you guys, as like time kind of goes by, there's going to be a point where the other guy starts to kind of move, and all of a sudden he's going to kind of come to, and in a pretty similar kind of fashion, he looks around for a moment, kind of like gathers his senses, and you'll hear pretty quickly where he'll kind of push the other. Still there? And you hear just as they kind of like check in on each other.
I move my sword and from his neck and look at the other guy, and I will ask him the same question of what are you doing here through intimidation.
You intend to kill us. You're going to need to actually kill one of us.
You shut your
To
fucking damn mouth.
move around with your little needle and do nothing shows only weakness.
I turn to him and I take and I swing at his head.
Which one? The first one or the second one? The second one was the one who was just talking to you.
The second one.
So you can kill him.
Yep. Six.
Oh, I mean, they're tied up. You can actively kill him.
13.
No. You're still mistaking me. Like, you kill him. This isn't going to be a roll. You don't need to struggle to do it. You can kill him.
Oh, then I kill him. I cut his head off.
Yeah, he is indeed dead.
I look at the other guy and I say, "This will happen to you if you don't start cooperating."
Still presents his throat to you.
I look at Draxton to say, "Do you have any more questions?"
Seems like perhaps there's someone else he's more afraid of than us.
So how much time has passed? We went into the warehouse.
You guys have been in the warehouse for probably a solid hour, if not longer, at this point.
So we're beyond that 2 hour after dark time frame that they were supposed to
You
be
are
there.
indeed, yep.
Okay.
Right, if there are no more questions, I cut the other guy's head off.
And then toss the torch in the pile of boxes.
I'm not going to be responsible for burning down a warehouse.
I also then begin to retrieve the rope I used to tie them up with. And say to the group, we need to do something about these bodies. Do we take them outside and burn them, or would you just burn the whole place down?
Yes, leave them outside. Nothing to tie them to us.
Well, apart from the fact that I had my hands on his head and on his arm.
I don't think like fingerprints are a thing. I don't think it's that advanced.
And I've also got his blood on me.
Well, I'm not. You want to draw the guards? Burning down a warehouse is a good way to do it.
It's also the best way to financially hurt whoever owns this warehouse and whoever is financing this person's operation.
We don't actually know. Perhaps they merely picked it because they knew it'd be empty.
Maybe just a warehouse. That's why I say, do we take them to the alley and burn them, or do we try and drag them somewhere and burn them?
Or just leave them in the alley.
Yeah, all that. And make it look like they had a fight of some sorts.
One guy's head on the other body and the other guy's head on the other body.
Exactly my thinking. I'll drag both bodies if you want to grab the heads. I resheath the sword in one action and grab one by his jacket, and then grab the other one once my sword is resheathed, and drag them out to the alley.
And I grab the heads and carry them out.
Just setting the bodies and the heads out in the alley and leaving them there. Are you guys stealing any of the textiles?
No, I think I'm just going to leave it. I was going to, but the guy was...
Are you burning the shop down?
No. I'm thinking we should come back later and see if anyone comes to here, if it's owned by anyone, or scope it out, or just leave it.
Could also head back into the Warrens. That's where the pale dogs tend to make their beds. Maybe someone will recognize the this note.
Maybe, or we may end up in a fight. I say we go rest and decide on this later.
I've heard the Sword Coast is very, very nice this time.
I then begin to place the bodies in a manner that looks like they were both having a duel of sorts and leave their weapons in their dominant hands. As we
Roller performance.
We could go get Fawn, ask if she could maybe sew the heads back on so it looks a little less
18.
Gotcha. So you try to place them in a way that looks believable that they could have each decapitated one another in the same strikes out in the alley. There's also blood that basically leads from inside of the warehouse, outside of the warehouse, from where you guys actually initially fought them into the warehouse. There's a lot more blood in this area than just the area where you guys leave their bodies, but you can indeed leave their bodies in a way that seems like maybe they had some sort of tussle, broke into the warehouse, seemed to go through about 5 or 10 crates, left the warehouse, and then killed each other as they got into another tussle. And
Could one of us then also make it look like pierce their arm with a needle of sorts to demonstrate like scars or hits of that sort, and then also break boxes in the warehouse?
Someone could use their dagger and a short sword and kind of.
I think I have something.
yeah, I'm not sure where you're getting at with here. You want to like try to leave more signs of things happening?
Yes, so I was thinking using my dart to demonstrate grazes on like their body parts of where they were swinging at each other and graze them, and
All right,
getting
they're not. Roll a medicine check for me, real quick.
doubt the guards are going to be worried about investigating too closely. Most of the ones I've met are pretty
5.
lazy.
So you go through and you do all of these cuts with like a dart or a dagger, trying to add scars. Maybe Seraph notices. Anybody who's knowledgeable is going to recognize that their hearts have stopped. Right now, you're doing quite clear post-mortem damage to them. But for you, it seems 100% this is a genius idea, and you just keep cutting up and defacing their corpses. But we are going to call the session here effectively, and we can pick up at some point with what this turns into in the long run. You guys have effectively kind of come to a dead end where you understand that there is a group that is interested in killing Fawn Quartermain. The Pale Dogs were hired by another group who are clearly not Pale Dogs, but otherwise unknown to you. And in time, you may learn more about this. But essentially, at present, this is kind of a dead end to kind of connect to. But it's something that you guys can pursue into the future. Fawn as a contact that you can perhaps go back to and maybe learn more. St. Gustav's, which is essentially the chapel directly across the street from the Delver Square, and Brother Fabior as someplace that she finds like solitude, or like as like a place when you guys were initially talking about what to do, she kind of like brought that up as a place to go to. and then you still have the actual note itself. Those are kind of your 3 potential leads moving forward. But otherwise, it is currently a dead end.
So just so everybody's clear, so the bodies have pretty much got loads of scrapes on them, and the warehouse has been destroyed enough to where it is perceived as they've had a fight. Correct?
Well, I don't think we
You hope.
destroyed the warehouse, did we?
No, I don't think we did. I
No, we didn't destroy it. Several of the crates have been opened and obviously tampered with, but not
Yeah.
destroyed.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Do we go along that line of destroying a few of the boxes to make it look like they were having a disagreement and having an argument, and then it led up to them both killing each other? Or do we leave it here and continue next time?
I'd say we leave it here. The question is are these men known by anyone else in this neighborhood? And possibly, do they know whether these people would ever get into an argument with each other? Is it possible that they're partners in this process, and our deception of them getting into a fight and damaging boxes and merchandise and things like that would ever even happen?
Well, it could be a possibility. What you gotta remember from what he was telling us is that he was going to sell that young lady for money, and there could have been a disagreement about the split.
Yeah, absolutely could have been. But we don't know if anyone else in the neighborhood knows their relationship to each other. We don't know their relationship to each other. They could have been brothers.
Could have been.
Bad things happen all the time.
Yeah, things do happen all the time. Yeah. So before we do end, could we start then to go to an inn to clean ourselves up and rest for the next one?
Yeah, all that is assumed at this point. You guys can make your escape and basically piece back out effectively to the crooked Skinner inside of the Warrens. As far as things go, that's the instance of what's really going to be up for you guys to determine. At this point, we're just ending things.